GoFundMe today. I totally forgot to set this up properly, so I am going to have to pull up my window uh, as whenever I come to the new scenes. So, whoops, whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. My bad. Um, I'm a little scatterbrained, not put together today because I've been working a lot. But what I'm gonna do is just tomorrow, I'm not setting any alarms. I'm just gonna wake up when I wake up and then do things as I do it. I'm gonna try to get some deaf content out tomorrow for Deaf Awareness Month. Um, next DEAF. I said that, not next. Anyway, all right. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about the whole GoFundMe situation, and I'm gonna direct you to one that I would rather you check out instead. And then that's the only time I'll get off topic. Well, that I plan to get off topic. Obviously, I often end up off topic anyway. But life is hard. Life is hard. I'm just noticing I've got lotion bottles everywhere. My desk is a mess. Let's just push that aside. Nothing to see here. Pushing stuff aside. Messy. Okay. Um. So we're gonna go over the GoFundMe situation. Then after that, what I figure we could do is talk about the news cycle. But just before we get there, um, I've wanted to kind of look over some commentary that I hadn't seen yet regarding the situation, and some of the stuff is like a different take I hadn't considered yet. Some of the stuff I don't agree with, some of the stuff I do agree with, some of the stuff I haven't watched yet at all, and some of the stuff is just came out like so we'll see what people are saying recently. Um, and then there's a couple of articles out that I hadn't seen yet that I thought we could just look over. Um, and the last but thing before we close out, well, two things. First, I figure we could talk a bit about the news cycle itself, and then next, I figure we could look at the trend report. So that way we could check out fucking the shit that the searches and stuff that has been happening in terms of numbers and analytics regarding keywords on Google related to Raylee and Casze Z. I keep saying Casze Z, but it's Caze. My bad. Whatever. And then just before we close out, I figure we could just check their pages for updates. So yeah, that's the plan today. So I'm gonna roll my intro, and then after my intro, whenever I go to the next scene, it's gonna take me a second to pull up the other window because I didn't prepare right. My bad. Here we go. Hi, my name is Lexie, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. Just one of those days where I totally forgot to set up, so I'm going to do that real quick. My bad. Whoops, wrong button. I'm just going to make some adjustments real quick, and then we will get this show on the road. Let me just pull up this other window. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Okie dokie. So what we're looking at right now is the Caze GoFundMe. There has been debates. I'm wondering, and I don't know for sure, I'm just wondering if she keeps taking it down and then putting it back up. For some reason, my captioner is choosing right now to be weird on me. Hopefully it gets its act back up. And so, yeah, fucking, So there's been like I've seen in content. I'm not sure if it's related to the timeline in regards to them seeing it or the time they posted the videos, things like that. But, there's been back and forth about if the GoFundMe is back up or not. And at the time that I began pulling up the content to prep for this live stream, it was still back up today. Um, and so let me just refresh here. It looks like it's still up as of this moment. I'm surprised. People are donating. I don't understand it, but I'm just pulling this up to show that yes, it is still up, shockingly enough, as of 9:54 p.m. Central Time on September 5th, 2024. Okay, still happening. So, but what I would like to direct you to is, and this is linked in the description of my video, is a GoFundMe that I would rather you donate to instead. And that is if you're willing and able. For anyone that this would be a financial issue for, of course, like ignore me. Like, you know what I mean? I'm broke as fuck myself. Like a lot of most of the population is, you know what I'm saying? So I understand entirely. But if anything helps, if anybody's got like, anyone's like, you know what, I got like $5 extra, fuck it, here's, I'm just gonna spit some $5, that would be cool. Like, if, you know what I mean? So Mandy is one of my old coworkers from Compare La Pen. We used to work together. Um, so in 2023, she was diagnosed with, I can't really pronounce this correctly, but invasive ductal carcinoma breast cancer. Um, and she's had surgery. She's been through treatment. I believe had chemotherapy and all sorts of things. Well, July 21st, 2024, she's developing new health issues, and she's gone from serving. She's been doing ride share such as Lyft or Uber, um, but she's sick all the time, so she's been behind on bills and things. And so she's not able to have also good quality of living because of that as well. So, and she literally says in here, y'all have been saving my life, and I'm ever so grateful. And I just want to show you guys, like, Amanda and I, we used to work together. Like, this is someone I know in real life. This isn't me investigating TikTok bullshit. Not, you know what I'm saying? This is someone I care about very much. Um, it would mean a lot to me if you were able, if you would consider just anything helps, donating to the GoFundMe, please. Um, Amanda is an amazing person. Anybody that knows her is lucky to meet her. Um, and yeah, so she's the fucking shit. She works so hard. Um, you know what I'm saying? And literally, so yeah, if you have just two shakes of a lamb's tail or like $5 to spare or something, that would mean a lot if you could consider just donating to Amanda's GoFundMe. This is somewhere I feel money would be better well served, in my opinion. Um, it would mean a lot. And the link is in the description. Um, so yeah, I hope you please consider donating. Thank you very much. She is amazing. So, next up, what we're going to do is check out Casze, this Casze reaction from Boss Lady C101. And she's here coming from a crisis management and running a business efficiently perspective, according to her caption here. And then we'll check out the comments in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail. But yeah, let's see.
And is this for real?
It paused on me. I'm just gonna refresh this. I think I'm gonna have to do that again.
I saw this circulating, and Is this for real? Unethical? Unethical? You know what? Since no one else is going to clock you, I will. If we're going to be anything, Casze, let's be for real. Unethical is how you've been running your cash grab business for the last 12 years. Please don't piss me off on this good day, okay? Unethical is how you, the unscrupulous pot, can call the bamboozled kettle black. Unethical is how you got up on your platform at your big age to create a sob story that you thought you were getting ahead of the bride to grift your audience. Actually, let's look up the definition.
So I'm wondering if, because I haven't watched any of this person's content before, so I'm wondering if this is just her genuine reaction to everything that has unfolded, or if there is something more to their connection that I don't know about. I'm just curious, but I do think this is a valid take based on what has come to light, particularly as it relates to, if you look at my playlist, all of the sources for everything is there in my work. But there's things that have come out regarding lawsuits. There's things that have come out regarding employee issues. And several of her clients have spoken out. Um, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing to have personal issues with people, because fuck people, they can suck ass. But it's entirely different when people are able to come with evidence to show that they were working with you and that certain things happen with that. And so, and then with the fact where there is evidence regarding the lack of payment to employees. um so yeah, like a lot of, I think this is just knowing these things alone, I think that is, those are things that would make this opinion like have evidence to back it up, right, in my opinion. But with the passions she speaks on, I'm wondering if it just made me feel as if she was connected to it somehow. Or is that just how good of a speaker she is to where she connects you to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if that makes sense. So.
Definition of what unethical is for Casze, shall we? Not conforming to high moral standards. It is absolutely disgusting to work in the bridal beauty industry and frustrating to see time and time again a bride being snuffed by who they thought was a professional only to be scammed later. And this also doesn't help us other black-owned businesses when we see you, Casze, acting like this. To see this unfold in real time, and Casze, you have the audacity to act self-righteous, lack accountability, or what it is to be a business owner with actual morals and ethics. Instead, you're acting like this is high school, and everyone is just out to get a young black woman with a business. Girl, cut it out. Unethical is you not even following with your own deadline and amending the contract so that you can make it harder for your client to fight you. But you think that posting client reviews from others is going to help damage control your reputation? Unethical.
Okay, I absolutely think that the amended contract thing, that's where I have questions on based on the evidence I've seen. Who amended the contract? Because I saw in the text messages where you could argue both of them had amended it at different points. I absolutely agree with the point though, because I literally put that in my presentation, like when I questioned if it was scam, because I also think that her not disclosing the amendment she did with the pricing, because in text message really shows she didn't know about the pricing until after for add-ons, for what that number was for the upcharge until after. um and so I actually wonder if legally the lawyers will be able to use that, because there's a definition of fraud where, like, if you prevent someone from knowing some information that would help them defend themselves in a lawsuit against you in business, that could be considered fraud. And not disclosing the price would be that, in my opinion. So
Was sending that ship-a-sheen dress without approval first, and I'm sorry, a thank you for sending video is not approval. Unethical is receiving a deposit for the dress, but thinking we're dumb and
So I agree with that point. What she said was not an approval. What I'm worried about would be, there are specific messages that Raylee sent, even if she sent other messages that negate that message, and obviously her being unsatisfied negates those messages. There are specific messages that Raylee sent along the process that might be able to be argued by Sendera's attorney as approval. That might bite her in the ass, though. Oops.
posting a GoFundMe for more than the cost of the dress. Like, you really got me on a roll here, okay? Unethical is how you target and exploit young consumers you know will not legally fight back by using adjacent celebrities or celebrity clients to drive that attraction. And to be clear, I could give a less the testimonials you are posting to damage control your image, because the fact still remains you are not her. Not the first, this is not the second.
Oh, and speaking of damage control, I want to speak a moment. So before I had previously spoken about how this was the aftermath for Rayleigh, I want to speak for a second why it's Rayleigh's aftermath, but not time for Sandera to do damage control yet. In my opinion, from a PR perspective, and that is simply because, well, in this situation, even though even though there would be, you could argue, like, if Sandera is the one, in my opinion, who instigated the PR crisis by creating the viral video, um and not only that, but by basically not providing the quality product. And it would be one thing if she had only, if nobody else, none of these clients had any issues, if she had a perfect BBB rating, if she did not have these lawsuits, and it was only Rayleigh's dress that this one issue occurred with, you know what I'm saying? And we took it out of context, out of everything else, I think it would be very hard to argue. It would be harder. It would be way harder to argue that it was fraud or scam, in my opinion, simply because of there are things that happened in the conversation where I think her attorneys will be able to argue, that she had a reason to believe that things would be approved X, Y, and Z at certain stages, in my opinion, technically. But if, because of these other things that occurred, when you put all of that together, then we can establish there's a pattern of behavior, and I'm sure there might be ways to get, if not all of that, some of that put in to consideration with the court. Maybe I'm wrong, because there's also a thing where, like, I forget the word that they use, but there's like a legalese term for where they consider cases as if you've done nothing else wrong. You're supposed to legally give you that benefit of the doubt and take each case on a basis as to where, in terms of giving you the benefit of the doubt for innocence or whatever, blah blah blah. But then there's also ways that they can, get through laws and relevancy and blah 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 and technicalities, get specific things that speak to patterns of behavior and things like that thrown in as evidence too, potentially, I think, in court. So the fact that all of these other people, and she has like a history of this and is like well known for that, and like they could question her on that and things like that, that's all of that put together, in my opinion, is where it's like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have that fraud case that could go, like, there's like an argument for that, in my opinion, for like fraud or scam. But if that wasn't the case, then it might be harder to argue, because it would be easier to argue it's just a bad transaction. You know what I'm saying? Because, in my opinion, for something to be like a fraud or a scam, I think they would have to establish that more of an intent. And on a single case by case basis, that would be harder to do. But because of this history, that could establish motive. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm rambling too much.
This is not the third person you have done this to. And you want to gaslight the internet into thinking you were ever right to begin with? And all you unethical designers are included in this as well. Yeah, I'm calling you all out. Yeah. Unethical is having a janky ass contract that does not protect the client and only.
Um, I actually think that contract still, because I actually have in my presentation the wording, in my opinion, because it doesn't say all sales final, and it doesn't say at what point in the contract are there no refunds. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, I say no refund on work completed, but say you prepay me $500. I haven't done $350 work for you and you want that back, I can give you the 350, but I wouldn't be able to give you the 150. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't do refunds on work completed. If you don't like it, we just don't work together again. That's how we go, right? But so that is, but at the same time, I don't lock you into a contract. That's how you're protected, because with other marketing agencies, if you look into them, part of why people don't like a lot of marketing agencies is they get locked into a contract. They're unhappy with the service and they're still legally obligated to pay thousands of dollars and they're not making any money. So that's why I literally do it the way I do it. Where you don't like it, we just cut our losses then and there and dip. You know what I mean? Um, so it's kind of like, because when you're a business owner, you're still a worker. Just because you're a business owner doesn't mean you don't deserve to be paid. So it's kind of like, imagine if your employer, if your boss could decide any moment they're just, not going to pay you for your work and you have no legal action to get paid for your work, you would have no reason to work anymore, right? So on a certain level, I agree there has to be mutual protection for both. And that actually, like, my client, he's a business coach, and he was literally telling me, for negotiations, it's important that everybody wins. There's no good deal unless both parties are happy, is what he was telling me. He was like, people who just squeeze people until there's nothing left, those are bad people. Um, that's what my boss was telling me, and he, not my boss, my client. Well, my clients are my bosses. I see my clients as my bosses. That's what my client was telling me. And he's 70 years old. You know what I mean? Um, and so fucking, like, there's like, there's the wording in there, because that way, legally, like, say that the dress was, legally all businesses have that. There's like a timeline on refunds, right? So for example, if you go to a grocery store, you can't refund a product after like maybe 30 days or something like that. Or most e-commerce stores, you can't do a refund after a certain time period, right? um and it's for the same reason. uh but those would be just normally on smaller purchases that won't, if you do a refund on a much smaller purchase, it won't make or break your business if you have to issue multiple refunds. So they're able to do it like that, right? Versus one or two refunds here or there shouldn't make or break her business. So the fact that she is being this weird about refunds is odd, in my opinion. Like, I have a no refund policy. If you want a refund, I have to give you one. And it's a case where, like, you know, you were going to work with me, but now you need to put your budget elsewhere, and there's like nothing wrong with us. You just need to better allocate your resources. Like, I'm like, yeah, let me know when you want to work together again, right? But if it's like a case where a relationship just went south, and then we just don't work together again, I give you the money back that you haven't spent with me, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and for me, that's also because when you're running ads and you're doing marketing, like, and you spend a certain amount of money on like Facebook ads, for example, that money's gone. I can't fucking get that back for you. Bye. But I've never had a client leave me for anything like that. I've actually, never had a client leave me. I've left my clients. Hmm. I've had people that I try to work for fire me but they weren't technically my clients through Deaf Child. I just worked for them otherwise. But I've never had a client of my agency leave me. I have had stopped working with people before. Most of them, though, I went ape shit on. Now we all hate each other. But I mean, I didn't just go ape shit on them for no reason. That's rape culture shit. But yeah, fucking. Anyway, my point is, the contract is standard and there is legal protection in here. It is word. I agree that it could be worded better to not pressure the client, but the terms are standard, but the wording could be better to make the for a better customer experience. But with that wording, there is still leverage for a client to get a refund because it doesn't say all sales final. It doesn't say no refunds when work completed. It says pay remaining balance or pay in full. There's no refund for partial payment or balance paid in full. But if you don't deliver on what the contract is, then you know what I'm saying? She's saying no refund, but she's not saying she though it doesn't say on what. It speaks to the specific contract. So if she didn't deliver what's in the contract, then she didn't cover in her contract that there's no refund on that. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So like for I don't know if I'm making enough sense because I'm either using too many words and being too broad or I'm not like I'm being too specific. I don't know if I'm being not specific enough or if I'm being too broad. I just know I'm speaking too much. So I'm about to just hit play on this video. But if you want to know what I mean and you didn't know what I mean, feel free to ask. My bad.
You by making sure you include no refunds once payments have been made. Unethical is how you can sit up here and exploit viewers that you need legal fees paid to hire an attorney, but yet your legal counsel in the comments you left told you not to further speak about it. So
That is a great point that I didn't think about. How does she have an attorney on retainer, but she needs us to pay for the attorney? Now, or unless her attorney is starting the rep for her and she owes the attorney still, because if you know an attorney like that, sometimes they will like go ahead and start working for you, but you still owe them. Depending on how she knows her attorney, that could also vary on the type of deal. But she's still good point. How the fuck do you already got an attorney, but you need us to pay for it? Oh, I didn't think about that before. I wish I put that in my presentation. I need to write this down. I'm braiding my hair though. Back. All right, I'm about to write this down. Hold on. How do you have a legal counsel?
did you hire the legal counsel with the 956.52 whatever dollars that was in the GoFundMe? Girl, go to unethical is physically showing up to the bride, not to fix the dress, but to be confrontational. This is not the street, sis. Unethical is thinking we, the viewers, are responsible for costs for your business you should already have accounted for, but yet you got this big ass, fake ass Casze chain around your neck to show you have big boss money. Newsflash, honey. Bosses with right checks, we don't beg for checks. Some of you out here, I'm sorry, but really lack the discernment on who's good and who's bad. Some of you in these comments, oh, you can never make me hate you. Oh, I love your designs. Oh, I really wish you guys could make it. Stop it. Stop it. You guys are the absolute reason why she has this platform and is able to do the things that she is able to do by exploiting others. Unethical is how you keep running around trying to play three blind mice to what's being said. Now, you know for a fact you have seen all the things that have been going on, which is the reason why you are responding in the way that you are. You are not a victim at the very least, Casze, and I'm calling out anyone else that supports this trash of an owner and a business because how you are not a whole.
I would like to point out I believed Kaze's story at first because I didn't know anything about who she was, and I couldn't compute as to how a business owner would fuck themselves over this way, like this, in the way that she did. But now I understand after all my research, right? And I've landed to where I don't think I like either people. I definitely think Rayleigh was wronged by Kaze initially. Initially. But then I don't think that Rayleigh handled it well, and I think things that Rayleigh did could have been used against her legally initially. But then Sandera did more things that could have been used against her legally, and even more things. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Um, And I mostly don't like Rayleigh for her political beliefs, in my opinion, and I don't like Sandera for the way she treats her workers, in my opinion. And so I don't really like either of them. And so I'm mostly just studying this because I'm kind of obsessed with the way the news cycle is happening on this case. I am obsessed with kind of understanding why would a business owner blow up their business this way, and what are the inner workings of the business procedures in terms of how is she not able to create sustainable procedures to manage the feast and famine cycle of production to better set herself up to serve customers in a good way? You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I'm kind of, I just want to understand what happened for things to go this wrong. I think it's a learning opportunity for everybody. I think everybody needs to stop thinking about like whose side are you on. I mean, pick your side. If you have a side, I'm not telling you how to feel. That's not what I mean. But I'm saying this is a great time for business owners to look at the learning opportunities here. And also, I enjoy shitting on them both.
Holding her accountable is beyond me. But you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together.
Oops, I forgot to unmute. So this comes from Boss Lady C101. And let's just check out some of the comments. So here we have the designer. She said, very great analysis of these unethical business practices and the disorganized operations management. You know what? I love that. Um, and Boss Lady said, thank you. You can check out my pen post for the actual analysis. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, hold up. We're going to go watch that. Um, Alexandra Bueno said it's my favorite video in the whole saga. She's made 1 million. Dude, I've spent like probably 40 hours on this because there's like 3 live streams I did on here that got removed. Not removed, but unlisted or privated about this too. And so there's like 15 more hours of work I did on top of the hours published. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. Okay, real quick before we move on, let's just go look at the pen post on Boss Lady's profile. So, oh, there's two. Okay, we just watched this one, I think. Okay, let's watch the
On this
controversy
episode,
part 1 and 2 from her. Ooh, these are long ones. All right.
of how not to ruin your brand, we're going to take a deep dive into wedding talk and the Casze and Raylee bridal dress situation. I've been a professional bridal hair and makeup artist for about 5+ years now, so I have a unique perspective of not only the bridal beauty industry and the issues brides face all the time in the vetting process and the wedding planning process, but also as a service provider myself who owns a business who takes its structure and how it operates very seriously. As always, this is not a bashing session. It is for educational purposes and helping you avoid these types of missteps. The Casze brand, I apologize if I am pronouncing that wrong, was founded in 2015 by Mississippi native Sandera Kazanthia. Again, if I am pronouncing it wrong, I do apologize.
Oh, I didn't even know she was from Mississippi. Okay, see, I'm from Mississippi too. All right, all right. That it kind of explains a little bit more why she ended up registering there.
And is a brand showcasing, according to its website, air quote, luxury evening wear and bridal house dress wear. Originally based in Atlanta, Georgia, Sandera extended her talents to South Florida and Miami, and upon researching her clothing has been spotted on celebs and influencers such as Dream Doll, Alabama Barker, Miss Bling Miami, De'Ara, B. Simone, and Vivica A.
Okay, I think her credibility with all these influencers and celebrities is a big part of too why everybody was instantly like on her side and why it's so hard to believe like she wouldn't be telling the truth as well. And because when you put your stuff up, maybe that should also be why we should be understand she's not telling she could, because like, all right, people don't become celebrities in my opinion typically. Some people do, but a lot of people don't become celebrities by being good people in my opinion, based on what I know of celebrity culture in my opinion. But um but I also think that level of clout is part of why she was able to get her narrative out there so strongly.
A Fox, to name a few. A series of posts that, for lack of a better word, defamed, aggressively cyber attacked, and showcased the actual mindset of the designer starting on or around about 8/23, August 23rd. Sandira lamented that TikToker and bride Raylee stole the custom wedding dress made for her wedding on 8/24 after fulfilling a rush order job for Miss Raylee and sending the dress with an unpaid balance in air quote good faith. On 8/29, the newlywed bride created a two-part video that goes over with further receipts of the exchange and what truly happened working with the Casze brand. Now, the reason this posed a further issue of backlash is because the masses initially believed the story Sandira gave to explain why.
And another thing, with the story Sandera gave, every part of it, it would be reasonable, in my opinion, to not expect her to show some of the things that she was saying right away because it would be considered doxing if she did. But um, it was also like every single thing she said there would be evidence for. So that's another reason it doesn't compute. Like, why would you lie about things there would be a paper trail for or a digital trail for, right?
Or how the dress was stolen. I'll be honest, I would normally wait for further, information just to see what response Sandira may have to the bride, because I've been seeing her kind of go on this social media campaign and double down even after the fact these further receipts have come out to say that she has receipts of her own to actually support her claim that the items were in fact stolen. However, to be quite honest with you guys, from a professional perspective, there is enough available for me, at least, to deduce who's at fault. I'll, of course, wait to see if she comes out with anything further. But I have said this before. How you choose to respond to controversy or negative feedback absolutely matters, because not only has Sandira shown a lack of accountability, but she has shown how unprofessional she is and her intention for business not being about the consumer, but rather how fast she can make her next sale, which is pretty indicative of a lot of the behaviors I have even personally seen.
That is a really good summary of everything because she does seem to be taking in a lot of customers without creating the systems, having the workers, having the workflow, and growing in a sustainable way in order to manage that workload and scheduling it all appropriately.
Living out here in Atlanta with some of the Atlanta-based service providers. Let's discuss what those unprofessional areas were and how this may affect her brand moving forward. Now, the first two questions I asked myself was, what was her climb to success? What did that look like? And how did she attract Raylee in the first place? Now, I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be funny, okay? However, Raylee did not seem like Case's target audience, which is more so what I'm getting at. Follow me here. If you take a look at the Casze brand, although classified couture and bridal, high-end, the dresses showcase does not match the quality of other Black-owned bridal gown designers that we know of, such as Hanifa or Alo Nuko, to name a few. Casze also has a very provocative forward look to their brand that almost gives upscale clubwear bodysuits versus luxury high-end black tie affair, which made sense to me. The clientele she has attracted, which are the video vixens, the social media it girls, and industry standard classified beauty women. And in my opinion, after seeing what Rayleigh's style was, really wish a little bit more research had gone into finding a bit more someone that was reputable.
This is a valid point though, because the Kaze brand, and I didn't consider this before, but I did look through Rayleigh's TikTok a little bit, and I've never seen Rayleigh wear anything like what's on the Kaze brand. And I understand in one level, I can't afford to wear a million things that I wish I could. So obviously, you've never seen me wear things that I would love to wear, right? But on another level, I feel like you can still kind of get someone's style from, even if they can't afford to wear what they want to wear, you can still tell someone's style sometimes, right? Like it does seem off. I do feel that.
Because I would have definitely recommended Alanuco, who demonstrates class in timeless high end pieces with also tastefully integrating implied sexiness. However, the reason for this, which answers the second question of how did she attract Rayleigh, was simply because of how Kaze markets and whom they choose and or have chosen to work with. Kaze uses different women in all skin tones often, whereas Alanoku has limited diverse skin tones, and this matters in the long term of sales. Marketing 101. Your customer has to be able to imagine themselves in your product or in your chair. I learned this pretty early on in my business, adapted this into my business, and worked a lot on Asian, Caucasian, and Hispanic skin tones as models. So I appeared as diverse as possible to potential clients when I did bridal expos. When someone can see someone of their own getting a service, that will always build trust with you and the potential client. So I further questioned and said to myself,
Right. So this brings me to another point. I had someone tell me that it was weird that I market myself as deaf child, and deaf representation is why I do it. And so, like, I got really mad about that. So I might do a video or a live stream about that shit later. That's to remind me of.
self, but I don't really see any Rayleighs, air quote, in Kaze's portfolio. So again, how was she able to attract her? But then I went a little deeper and I discovered Alabama Barker. And although she is not in a gown, Rayleigh was probably able to imagine herself after seeing someone like herself in Kaze's portfolio, which goes back to my marketing 101 statement. Also, just a quick downside too, brands like Alanuco should be getting more visibility, but it really boils down to the marketing and also the research on the bride's part. Alanuco, if you need somebody, please call my line. Yeah. The next question that leads into how has she been successful goes hand in hand with her marketing. She makes sure to push her influential clientele and more than likely gives them her best work in exchange for a shout out or their brand to be recognized.
See, that's exactly what her seamstress was saying, that she spends more time on the influencers and social media people than the day-to-day clients for this reason. I do agree her specific focus on the celebrity clientele is what has allowed her to propel to where she is.
I'm saying this because I've worked the management side of things, right? So it is actually pretty common for designers or service providers like this in the entertainment industry to either barter their services, offer a discount, or even give them the product for free. And celebs use their likeness to also try and obtain things to their advantage. And Alabama Barker, she was called out a few months ago, if some of you remember, by a known hairstylist because they wanted certain services for free, although there was a loose agreement with her and the style. But all I'm going to say to that is this is the reason why it is so important to stand on your worth regardless of who the name is. To Kaze, there is more value in using someone's name to further get what they want because Kaze uses the opportunity involved in this to take advantage of everyday consumers. And for the most part, this has worked on consumers like Rayleigh and others because
And here's what's the difference. The reason it's worked is because when the regular person has been speaking out, even when they had 10 to 20,000 followers or 5,000 followers, they're not heard because no one cares. It's just one person, just a customer. Why this became an opportunity for everybody to tell their story and how it got so viral was Kaze doing it to herself. Kaze made this go viral. That's the key thing here for me. Like We're probably about to rewatch part of what was played here because I don't really know how far back. Yeah, I don't really know how far back to go, so I'm just gonna kind of like start about somewhere. And my bad, I don't know how this goes for you guys, so I just kind of went back a little bit. All right.
Because of how Casze markets and whom they choose and or have chosen to work with. Casze uses different women in all skin tones often, whereas Alanoku has limited diverse skin tones, and this matters in the long term of sales. Marketing 101. Your customer has to be able to imagine themselves in your product or in your chair. I learned this pretty early on in my business, adapted this into my business, and worked a lot on Asian, Caucasian, and Hispanic skin tones as models. So I appeared as diverse as possible to potential clients when I did bridal expos. When someone can see someone of their own getting a service, that will always build trust with you and the potential client. So I further questioned and said to myself, but I don't really see any Raylee's, air quote, in Case's portfolio. So again, how was she able to attract her? But then I went a little deeper and I discovered Alabama Barker. And although she is not in a gown, Raylee was probably able to imagine herself after seeing someone like herself in Case's portfolio, which goes back to my marketing 101 statement. Also, just a quick downside too, brands like Alanuco should be getting more visibility, but it really boils down to the marketing and also the research on the bride's part. Alanuco, if you need somebody, please call my line. Yeah. The next question that leads into how has she been successful goes hand in hand with her marketing. She makes sure to push her influential clientele and more than likely gives them her best work in exchange for a shout out or their brand to be recognized. I'm saying this because I've worked the management side of things, right? So it is actually pretty common.
And I'm just backing that up. Like everything she's saying on that regard is very common, and just it's just how the business industry works typically.
Common for designers or service providers like this in the entertainment industry to either barter their services, offer a discount, or even give them the product for free. And celebs use their likeness to also try and obtain things to their advantage. And Alabama Barker, she was called out a few months ago, if some of you remember, by a known hairstylist because they wanted certain services for free, although there was a loose agreement with her and the stylist. But all I'm going to say to that is this is the reason why it is so important to stand on your worth regardless of who the name is. To Caze, there is more value in using someone's name to further get what they want because Caze uses the opportunity involved in this to take advantage of everyday consumers. And for the most part, this has worked.
So I don't know if y'all got this or not, or if I'm repeating all of this because for me OBS crashed and I don't really know at what point in this video that happened at. So I'm sorry if you're rewatching shit. But I'd been saying like this is where I was saying like the designer had been saying, um, you know, they were struggling to take on the workload that was coming their way. And so the client quality suffered and all of that, and that they're getting more clients than they can actually manage the production for. Well, I guess that won't happen anymore. If it does, I'll be surprised. But that had been the issue previously. And so what they would be doing would be providing a better service for the celebrities or social media influencers and the people who uh, weren't on that level didn't get the same level of service. And in my opinion, at this price point, that's not how it should be. It should be like if you that's what you're paying for with the price point. You know what I'm saying?
On consumers like Rayleigh and others because consumers see, oh, well, she's worked with all these different type of people. Surely they will treat me the same. In the same breath, Sandira understands the clients she has because she's had several complaints made to the Better Business Bureau. But I feel she knows that she works with consumers that will not even think about court or have the financial means to make her face ramifications. Something else that I do find calculated, she also waits until she is outside of the dispute window for customers, which is normally 60 to 90 days to dispute purchase.
You know what? That's a great point. I didn't even notice that. Waiting until after dispute notice. Okay.
Which makes it harder or non existent for them to receive funds back. Let's shift, okay, and take a look at some of her unprofessional pitfalls and how the lack of accountability for misleading information may affect them. The first thing I thought was petty and unprofessional was the initial post she made that the dress was stolen, and then her story time following up after that, which we're going to dissect a few key things that stood out to me in the next slide here. Let's roll the clip.
And for those that are asking how did she get the dress without paying, the big question, I shipped it out of good faith. This was a rush order bridal gown, and we had a few days until her wedding. So
let's talk about this. This was a rush order bridal gown, which my team only had a few days until wedding, so the dress was shipped out in good faith. Here's the problem area. Sandera was very vague and careful in her statements about the gown. In this video, she mentions it was a rush order and omits the timing on purpose. In another video,
No, this is actually like a really good point because I feel like I I kind of wish because this hypocrisy happened in the first statement. And I kind of wish that I paid attention to it then. I think also another thing with me is my instant go to is always typically going to be to believe victims when they come tell me their stories based on what I've been through. I wouldn't want to invalidate somebody, right? And so everybody's also like, well, this is why we should have waited for both sides. But in some cases, if you wait for both sides, what the other side's going to do, deny it, right? And so, there was also like a thing where I struggle with that concept too. Like, at what point do you wait for both sides versus believe victims if there is one, if they tell you they're one? But then that's where this also sucks is when people lie about being a victim, it makes it harder for people who are actually victims to get help. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, because of people who lie about being a victim to where then when people are victims, they have to go through even more bullshit before it, and sometimes no one will help them. But you know what I mean? In my opinion.
though, she states she worked 5 months on the dress. Further, her website does not clarify what Casze considers to be a rush order, and even further states that custom orders only take 2 to 5 weeks to make. I also don't understand, just a side note, which is
That's what I was saying too. Like, she should have clarified this in her policies and contract and stuff. And her policies and contract actually state pretty much the opposite of what she was saying, to where what they were ordering was well within the time frame to order it. This is so fucking valid.
there's a further point I'll get to later on why this FAQ is under shipping and not the custom order tab. The next area I want to point out is that the contract provided to Bride also did not specify the requirement on when to actually place custom orders and what is considered a rush order job.
The contract does state above right here, it actually does state when to place the custom order right below where the captions that she has overlaid on. That black, the first paragraph is that part. Um, but everything else you're saying, I agree with so far.
So expectations were set clearly or correctly. Bridal wear actually takes the brand 3 to 6 months to create according to contract, and Raylee placed the order with several fittings on 2/19/2024 with a deposit. February to August, if you do the math, folks, is about 7 months. So I'm entirely confused, Sandera, how this was considered rush. So which is it, my dear? This, in fact, was a deceptive tactic, in my opinion, to gain sympathy from you, the viewers, that she attempted to go above and beyond and was not recognized for it. Next point I want to call out, which furthers my point of her attempt to go above and beyond, is the usage of "in good faith," air quote. As a service provider myself, there has never, and I mean never, been a time I don't collect payment from my client. That's silly and ridiculous, no matter how you spin it. Now, unless I inconvenienced my client in some way and I need to do the right thing, okay. However, instead of calling attention to what specifically Sandera did to inconvenience the bride, she masked this masterfully with saying, well, I did it in good faith. Now, the area in which this would affect, in my opinion, from a professional standpoint, is the brand's credibility. This will damage Case's brand credibility greatly because Sandera shows that she lacks the soft skills to handle complex business scenarios in an appropriate manner and will create controversy via social media to garner that said attention. Let's roll the next clip.
Fast forward to the day I shipped it and made sure that it was on the truck and make sure everything was good. I sent her a reminder text and said, hey, just, making sure you got the balance, making sure you know the payment options.
So this next point, I shipped it and made sure it was on the truck and sent a reminder text to pay her balance. Here's the area of problem, or the problem area that I have. The issue I have with this clip is Sandera completely omits if she confirmed with the bride if the dress was approved and okay to ship, and goes straight into, fast forward, air quote, I shipped the dress, air quote, which further affirms Raylee's claim that when asked for a better video or photo from the one she was originally sent by Sandera due to it being a bit too blurry, Sandera chose to ignore the bride's request, which makes me believe that Sandera knew from jump that the item was probably not going to be up to par, but did not want to have to truly make any fixes. The next area I want to call attention to is her focus throughout the video on her being paid, which rightfully so as a service provider. However, the air that it gave was that she wanted to hurry up and have the bride pay without even receiving confirmation, which is a big no-no from any designer and a huge red flag. This also made me very uncomfortable to watch because from my experience in just corporate world, frauders in the financial world use this tactic of rushing to distract customers and making a mistake and coughing up funds. Sandera exploited that the bride needed this urgently by trying to demand payment early. Now, the area in which this would affect, in my opinion, is going to be the brand's professionalism and their quality of professionalism. Customers expect clear communication and responsiveness. I can't tell you how many reviews that I get, and a lot of those reviews go back to how responsive I am to my clients. Sandera's failure to confirm dress approval and ignoring the bride's requests for better photos can lead to a perception of poor customer service. Simply put, trust is
all the bad reviews, definitely. Everything that she is saying on all these parts, I absolutely think has been spot on. Um, because at this point, it's just like what I had been saying before. Like nobody is gonna fucking believe her shit now. Anything she comes out in the future against clients, like even if she comes to the evidence, people are now gonna be looking at it different. Like at this point, she would have to really shut down what she's doing with this current social media routine. She would need to go dark. She would need to focus on, in my opinion, cold contacting. She needs to get off social media and put her marketing in other areas. Focus on her current clients. Do cold contacting and networking within the industry, in my opinion. Hopefully she needs to get with some person who can help her with business. Someone who can help her run the business operations, help her with marketing, help her with PR crisis management, help her with sustainability and workflows and how to manage, how to source, how to do better product, and that if she were to actually care about this. In my opinion, if what she is doing is what the designer is saying, she needs to be more transparent about that procedure. And not that she could still market it as custom, but whether it would be couture could be debatable. Um, in my opinion, potentially, if some of those things were true. Not that I don't believe the designer, but I'm just saying I've never been there before. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, no, let's keep going. I'm sorry I interrupted, but
is crucial in building long-term customer relationships, folks. Any hint of unethical behavior can erode credibility and it lead to a decline in customer loyalty and repeat business. We don't want that. Sandera is seen as not taking necessary steps to ensure the product meets customer expectations, and this would ultimately reflect poorly on the perceived quality and professionalism of the brand. But before we dive into the next few points here, let's pause here and hop on over to part 2. On this episode,
So yeah, we're definitely go check out part 2. Um, and there is a certain level of messy you can be with your brand as well, and
all right.
people don't care if they have value alignment with you. You can still be yourself. If you don't want to be that way because that's not how you want to be with your brand tone. I'm not saying you should be this way. I'm saying you can. I'm just myself. And I still get in confrontations with people. People don't fucking like me and shit. And that doesn't impact my ability to make a living. So, on a certain level, having conflicts doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do well in business at all. Like, it literally doesn't. You know what I mean? Um, like, fucking I hate fucking Jeffree Star, but that dude's still around. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who, like, if you know what I mean? Like, Trump is still debatably, sustainably okay with money regardless of like the bankruptcy things, like they're able to still work the system to where that dude's still quote unquote all right, like things like that. Um, I hate that fucker. That wasn't a pro Trump statement. I don't like myself right now. Sorry. But you know what I mean? I'm saying, but that was my point. You can be a completely shitty person. A bunch of people fucking hate you, and you'll still be fine. You know what I mean? So yeah, fucking. I don't know. Let's see the comments real quick. The designer said, "Wow, this whole series and analysis you did on Casze was fantastic work. I wish I had done this in-depth analysis and discernment before I agreed to work for Casze and got scammed out of wages." Boss Lady C101 said, "Give yourself grace. At least you know now. I'm sorry to hear this happen to you." I'm trying to like it. There it goes. It wasn't liking. Someone, someone said during the wedding they had to pay for everything before the wedding, but the problem was she was so late in delivering the dress that there was no way to get her payment ahead of it. Um, she was thinking about the good faith the bride had in her. That were the comments there. And so, yeah, I don't think I do agree that the only thing I think that I remember off the top of my head where I don't think I agreed in the video was the wording on the contract well, a couple of things on the wording on the contract. One, I think the wording on the contract technically did outline the terms of when is the good timeline for it, you know what I mean? But she's, but Sandera is like acting like her own contract didn't say that, in my opinion. But then, also fucking, I think the terms were standard in terms of what they could mean, but they should be worded better. The terms they lack words to protect that could protect the business better, in my opinion, because some of the way it's worded actually could end up in the customer's favor, in my opinion. Um, because of what I was saying about how the contract doesn't use words that apply to like all sales final, or they don't make it it lends you to believe the contract could be interpreted as if there's only no refund if the contract was delivered on. So if the contract wasn't delivered on, then you didn't fulfill your end of the contract, right? And so that's the other thing people have to consider. Like, there's a big difference, in my opinion, between a business having a policy on no refund on fulfilling the work as ordered, you know what I'm saying? Versus um, a customer not being able to get their money back when they're fucked over. You know what I mean? I think there should always be a balance, and that comes into the wording. So I don't know, but I'm also not an attorney. So attorneys know way better than me about how the best wording should be. So I'm not saying that was great wording. I'm just saying I disagree that the wording um was like wasn't standard. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense.
All right. Thank you for joining this ride. Part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 regarding Casze and the Raylee situation, please make sure you check it out so you are all caught up. We are going over the unprofessional pitfalls that unfortunately Casze and Sandera fell into and how you can avoid these missteps. Let's dive into the next clip, shall we?
I go to sleep, I wake up, they're a few hours ahead of us, so I send another text, just, hey, the dress is going to be held at a location because I haven't received my payment. And then,
okay, next point. The dress is going to be held at the location because I haven't received my
Yeah, actually, I still can't get over this one either because I'm like, no one, what the fuck do you mean you're gonna hold the dress? Like that makes no goddamn
payment. Are you crazy? Problem that I have with this, in the last point, Sandera states that she shipped it, right? The dress, and it was on the truck. Then later states, I placed a hold on the item due to her not receiving payment of balance. But again, no mention that the bride confirmed first everything was okay with the item prior to shipping. Not only does this show her disgusting lack of customer service, but contradicts her statements of doing something in good faith, air quote, as she is in fact okay, as we can see, with inconveniencing the bride once again because she decided to send the dress without payment. The mismatch between Sandera's claims of acting in good faith and her actions, shipping the dress without payment and later placing a hold, demonstrates also a lack of integrity and shows the lack of maturity the designer chooses to handle conflict, but also the lack of actual structure she has within her brand and business. The area that this is going to affect is the operational efficiency of Case's brand. The lack of structured processes and effective conflict resolution within Case's business can affect its efficiency. Point blank, period. Also, inadequate procedures for handling payments, confirmations, and other customer.
Dude, now I can't remember if I already watched this or not. We didn't watch this already, did we? Uh, I'll timestamp it if we didn't, but I think this is the last one. We're just gonna finish this video. Bro, I'm sorry. But, no, I absolutely agree. And the customer service issue gets me too because on top of the procedural issues, it's also the tone. And it's also the lack of care for the customer's big day. And part of the luxury experience is paying for that, right? And that's also what will get you more sales. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it just to get more sales. But I'm saying if that's what you care about, that is what will increase your conversion rate optimization, in my opinion, or get you more sales. What I like about her is I'm always like over here talking about shit like I think I can be a little too technical sometimes and I can talk like I'm not always because I'll be like I'm not professional but I'll be technical, you know what I mean? But she speaks to things in a real world in terms of how the user experiences it. But I'll be over here speaking like, yeah, now we've got the near endowment exposure theory and let's talk about brand loyalty and brand recognition and did you know about lead generation and lead acquisition? You know what I mean? I mean that made that though all those words put together made no fucking sense. I was just saying some shit. But like I'm just saying that you know what I mean? I don't know. You get my point, right?
Customer communications also would suggest poor operational management. Let's hop into the next clip.
so I called FedEx to hold it at a location, hoping they would possibly go ahead and pay me or correspond back to me after I did that.
I more so gathered from the conversation with the mother, because of course I had to read between in the context clues, that she wanted to take care of the balance. However, they noticed the discrepancies with the dress. The daughter noticed when it actually arrived, and further made them, hesitate, again, rightfully so, to complete the transaction. However, Sandera tries to angle this more as a cat and mouse game the bride and mom are playing, and provides no valid receipts throughout this entire story time. This is also very deceptive and tries to deflect the attention away from.
So I will agree that Sandera didn't show any screenshots or evidence or anything in her initial videos. The one videos where she like did show the screenshots, they do show some evidence that I think could help her in court, but they don't show enough to show that she delivered on, but in my opinion, delivered on what Raylee wanted, in my opinion. But they do show enough to where I think she could be able to reasonably argue that she tried. And you'll have to watch my videos to see what I mean by that. But that's, you know what I mean. And I'm not saying whether or not you agree. I'm just saying because of things that were said, she might be able to argue that.
Sandera taking responsibility. What area this will affect for the brand is conflict resolution. Okay, the pressure to complete payment without addressing the concerns raised by the bride.
And that's another thing that's really important to me: permission marketing and consensual sales. The consent and having agreement at every step of the way should be at the forefront of every relationship, including your business relationships. You know what I'm saying?
And her mother, combined with a lack of acknowledgement of mistakes, shows poor conflict resolution skills and professionalism on Sandera and the Casze brand. This approach indicates a problematic business practice, okay? And weak customer service protocols. Yeah. Next clip.
I get a text and it's like, oh, you need to come fix the train. I said, well, I'm not going to come fix anything until the balance is paid, because
Whew, all right. So this point, I'm not fixing anything until the balance is paid. Well, Sandera, I think we have a problem, huh? So the problem area here for me is the fact that Sandera was in the wrong to begin with by not making sure the dress was approved again by the bride, and late on meeting the August 10th.
I mean, yeah, between that and the fitting that was canceled, you would think, you would, like, if I had to cancel a fitting, I would have flown out there with the dress to begin with and made sure it fit and did any alterations on the spot or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, providing that level of customer experience, you wouldn't be here now, in my opinion.
Deadline, and her stance was no, I need my money further, shows the lack of care she has to ensure customer satisfaction. This is a huge red flag, folks, okay? When any service provider pressures you into making payment on something that you never approved.
And another thing that's a red flag is if people try to add you to their email marketing without consent. I fucking hate businesses that do that shit. Fuck.
I'm getting on a flight. I'm letting you know I will be there by 8:15 to retrieve the dress. So she knew because she was texting me and telling me, oh, what time will you get there? And she also asked me what time the FedEx closed. I told her. So,
you know what? I've been asking, did whether or not Raylee knew. And here, Sandera is claiming that Raylee did knew that she was coming. So in my opinion, is this where I've been asking, did Raylee know that the flight was already booked? Is that Sandera saying yes? Oh shit. But you know what? I don't know that for sure. So it's still a question. I'm not saying for sure, but that's making me wonder if that is an answer though.
So she was very well aware that I was coming to get that dress.
Okay, jumping into this point, I will be there by 8:15 to retrieve the dress. Girl, who are you looking for? Because
so here's where I'm at. Because of where I was just saying so if the flight was already booked and Raylee already knew she was coming, then for Raylee to change her mind after the fact is kind of like, bruh, she just spent all that money on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that happened and there's the evidence to back it all up, right? But if that didn't happen, then I'm absolutely like, that's totally wild to just be like, I'm gonna go fly out there. But I'm saying it only makes sense because they had been talking about it, and she did, even though she initially said no, she shows later that she did say she would, and then that she had gotten her flight booked. So I don't know the timeline all of that occurred because that wasn't shown in order. But you know what I'm saying, and that's where my opinion sways.
Because whatever you search for, I'm sure you'll probably find it. You feel me? The problem that I have with this, or the problem area, Sandera stated in this clip she decides to hop on a flight, not to fix the situation she caused, but to further stoke the fire and retrieve, air quote, the dress from the bride due to non-response, and bride was aware. Sandera states she proceeds to blow up the bride's phone once she lands to find out her location to retrieve the dress. I can't even begin to tell you how confrontational, unprofessional, and absolutely problematic this is as a business owner.
I mean, I do agree that that's not how that should have been handled from a business, because there's just like, if this is an actual harm done against you as a business, then there is a way for you to go about taking legal action for that in court. Um, or there's just much better ways to go about doing it, you know?
To hear that you, Sandera, hopped on a flight to further bring fuel to the fire. This is not the ghetto, love. Future brides, please take heed to this situation. So what area is this going to affect? This is actually going to affect customer boundaries. Sandera's decision to travel.
You know, maybe she's going to touch on this, but did she mention this already and I didn't process this? But what about also like um association and proximity? Because now not only is are people not going to want to work with her for every fucking reason she's been saying, right? But also because people might not want their reputation tarnished by their proximity or association to how Kaze's brand is getting dragged down right now. You know what I'm saying?
Travel and aggressively pursue the bride to retrieve the dress shows a lack of respect for customer boundaries. Although she states in this video that she reached out to get the address and get permission and just not pop up, this is still very confrontational approach and is highly unprofessional and indicates a poor understanding of proper customer service and soft skills. Let's roll into the next clip here.
They have not texted me, emailed me, corresponded with me, and said anything in regards to giving my address back, paying the balance, or anything. So
this last point here, they have not texted, called, or reached out about paying the balance, and I don't know what's going on. Problem area with this, a little bit before this clip, Sandera states that she's been blocked, okay? And in the same breath states that she has not received any texts from bride or mother. But the bride made it clear, and rightfully so, okay, that she sent, Sandera a text message, pause to read, that she would be blocking her.
I mean, I do agree that that happened, but I think that Sandera meant, all right, I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth or anything, but the way I interpreted that part was when the after she'd been blocked, they didn't how long of the block she had been texting and they never responded to those texts. I don't think it wasn't about, that's how I took it, right?
And follow up at a later time. Although Raylee sent this text to Sandera, she did not end up blocking her, she stated in her video. So, Sandera, the only way you would have known you were blocked is having read the message from the bride that she blocked you, because she in fact never did so. This was very methodical how Sandera played this to viewers, as though
that's the one point I think I also kind of disagree with, because, like, I mean, I agree that Sandera is doing a lot of fucked up shit and stuff. I'm not, like I said, I don't like Sandera or Rayleigh. But on this one, if someone says, I'm going to block you, and then you keep texting them and they don't answer, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume you've been blocked. You know what I'm saying? And then to say, well, they blocked me because they said they were going to block me. I texted them and they didn't answer. So that's like in my opinion, that's a reasonable conclusion to come to. So that one, I don't know. So I do think she's doing a lot of fucked up things, But there are some things that happen to where I don't think that she's like, even if you could say that, I feel like there's like, you could reason that she could be perceived as like vindictive or something based on words that have been said and how she's going after people. I think that there's evidence to back that up, right? But with the way she's not able to manage her company production, I feel she's very disorganized, and I think a lot of people give her. I don't. It's not that I don't think she had the energy or motive to be on a level of vindictive, but I don't think she has the organization to be as manipulative as people think she is. I think she's just working with people who encourage her or have taught her to do bad things, and here's why. Because, in my opinion, of how young she is. I'm 30 years old. I think she's like 5 years younger than me. And I'm thinking about how old I was. I started my business at 19. And when I started my business at 19, I built my business by listening to the people older than me around me. And they were between 20s to 40s. And they were telling me to do fucked up things. And I was listening because I didn't know better. You know what I'm saying? So when you're trying to build a business, if you have the wrong people telling you in your head, telling you what to do, or if you're in the wrong community with the wrong value alignment, so I just question if she has the wrong people around her in her business structure, if that has to do with it. And here's why. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are things that happen with her story and she is being this level because, look at my Tawana Thornton case. That woman was fucking manipulative. Holy shit. But with this situation, it's like everything she is doing is everything that is coming out is making it harder. It's like self-destruction. So it makes me wonder, is she having a self-destruction streak? Is just mental health? What is the crux of the matter? Because I mean, it's hard for me to just believe people are just all bad or born bad. I know there's bad people out there, and I know we can, if we try to humanize every person we see doing bad things, we're just going to end up normalizing and excusing bad things by upholding it with the human condition. But it's really hard for me to understand how would someone fuck themselves over this way. You know what I mean? That's why I'm still so fascinated with watching everything about this case, I think.
Someone skipped out of town on her or, ran off on the plug twice. When in fact, the bride was overwhelmed from all the issues that occurred by the designer. What area will this affect? Well, this will affect customer perception. Sandera's contradictory statements about being blocked and not receiving text messages, that creates confusion and would appear to.
This is where she and I think, have a different interpretation of what happened there. And I don't think any of us really know either. But that's not what I think she meant. You know what I'm saying? My, and that's not what I saw, because I did see on the screenshots, even the screenshots that Rayleigh showed, where Sandera had been texting a lot, but Rayleigh didn't respond until later. I think from how I perceived it, but I'm not trying to gaslight someone else's perspective. I just think we took what was said in different ways potentially. You know what I'm saying?
Deceptive to viewers. This suggests a possible attempt to manipulate the narrative, which she has, and portray the bride in a negative light, which she has. The only solution at this point for the Casze brand is to invest in a good lawyer, in crisis management.
I forgot if she's mentioned the other lawsuits or not, or if she knows about them or not, because it's hard for me to keep up with who knows what at this point. But um, when you look at the other lawsuits, I wonder if she can afford an attorney. You know.
Team, because some of the elements of this matter, I'm not an attorney or a lawyer, but it is court worthy. I'm just going to leave it there. Now, to my future brides, I'm going to plug in some key points to consider when you are searching for vendors so you don't fall into these missteps either. First point is always properly vet your vendor, check their reviews on
Um, she's saying to check their reviews on more than one platform. I think I'm going to skip the rest of this video. It is linked in the description if you want to go finish it. We're stopping at 8 minutes 6 seconds if you want to go finish it to see the vendor bride checklist. But if she's switching topics to that, then I'm going to keep going on to this train here. Um, so yes, let's move on here because we've got a lot to cover. Next up, we have a little reaction from Claudia Hernandez. And so let's just see what Claudia has to say.
Hey guys, so another person commented on my previous post saying that Casze had created another GoFundMe. So she did. I just checked. It's active. She's still expecting for donation.
A lot of people are calling this another GoFundMe. I guess, if you want to be technical, another GoFundMe link is up, so it's not like they're wrong. But in my head, I see it as the same GoFundMe because it's the same link, the same words, it's the same fucking thing.
Donations for her quote unquote hardships. I don't know what to think at this point. There's no way we can defend her. She just did Raylee so wrong. Raylee spent so much money on that dress. It was a huge amount to end up having to purchase an additional dress.
I think there's no way to defend Casze on what Casze did to Diana, on what Casze did to the Road Jinsu, on what Casze did to her employees. Um, I'm having a hard time seeing what everybody else is saying on the die hard for Rayleigh thing. I can see where ways things went wrong for Rayleigh. I don't think Rayleigh got good customer service. I don't think that Rayleigh got a good product in terms of getting what she wanted and the delivering things. But what I'm saying is, what I think makes Rayleigh's case different from the real Jensu's and from Diana's is how Rayleigh did, they never did some of the things that Rayleigh did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense in terms of some of the ways that Rayleigh gave approval to things, or she said things that could be, in my opinion, taken by the attorneys to be used as that, approval on certain things that happen. In my opinion, I think there are things that happen in Rayleigh's case that can get used against her, but with that has been shown instead. But with in terms of fighting, if certain expectations at least had reason to believe expectations were met based on getting approval at specific times, right? They're gonna be able to argue some of that. But with the real Jensu and Diana, they don't have that level of shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Because the one Casze sent was so botched. It was horrible, awful, unwearable, crooked, and the list goes on. And she's still expecting for donations. I just don't get it. I hope Rayleigh sues her for breach of contract, emotional distress, defamation of character, whatever they can sue her for, because this is wrong on all levels. This is just disgusting behavior. But yeah, guys, GoFundMe is active now.
Yeah, I did a whole analysis on that. I think at different timelines, there are things where they both have had, there could be argued to have, could potentially cases against each other. And I really think whose cases is the strongest is going to depend on, well, the best attorney and who gets in first, and the evidence, So, because I'm hoping and thinking there could be more that we are not seeing. You know what I mean? That they wouldn't be showing us for the preservation of their case. Um, on both sides, potentially. But I'm hoping we get to see some of this court come out in public, whether it just be the documentation. I doubt this would be publicly aired. If it was, that'd be cool. But let's see what Alexandra Bueno has to say.
If you're keeping up with Wedding Dress Gate between Sandera and Rayleigh, Earlier today, Sandera put her GoFundMe back on her TikTok. It was up for several hours, and I just looked, and it is already gone again. But I did get screenshots of it before it went away, so let me show you. So here was the title of the GoFundMe, Support Casze.
So see, that's where I was saying earlier, because this was posted yesterday as if it was up and then taken down, but then I posted yesterday, so like, I don't know if she's been posting it, taking it down, or if that happened or not, but as far as I can tell, it is back up for now.
Help recover from unethical client. She had a goal of $12,500. You can pause to read this if you would like. Then there's this part. So what I think is interesting, and I pointed out,
I literally can't remember which live stream I did this in. I think it was one of my afternoon kabooms, but in one of my live streams, I already read the entire GoFundMe page, so I'm not doing that again.
in someone else's comments earlier, is that
I'm pretty sure this is the exact same fucking word.
this right here, legal fees. Hold on, where I go. Where I will have to first retain an attorney, which is crucial for resolving the matter. So I thought that was interesting because she had a comment that said something along the lines of, and I'm not quoting verbatim because I don't remember, but it was something along the lines of, legal counsel has told me not to talk about this anymore. And so I just thought it was interesting that this says she needs an attorney, but she was saying that her attorney already told her not to talk about it anymore. Then here's the last little bit of it.
Right. So whenever I did my presentation, I did that off of the videos they made only. I didn't go do it off of the other statements they were making in comments. I wish that was in the presentation. That was so, dude.
When I did check, it didn't have any recent donations, at least when I had checked last. I think the most recent was 7 days ago, 7 and 8 days ago, back when this all initially started. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that it was up and now it's back down.
And now it's back up again. So let's see if it comes back down. Alrighty. So next up we've got some I think this conversation based on the commentary is going to go in a different way. You'll see what I'm saying in a second. So Madalyn Sankey has a different take than everybody else, and I'm fascinated to see what she's going to say. Let's see.
Be clear. Let me be clear, I asked her for more photos and videos of the dress before she sent it so that I could proof it, which again I never did. But she never sent me those photos of the model in my dress until the dress already got.
Okay, I'm still not over the fact though that she did do a whole photo shoot and shit like that with a whole nother model in the wedding dress. Like that's what the client should be getting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ugh.
To me, and I was like, what is this?
This is why your story kind of sounds a little contradicting. She has this dress on the mannequin on August the 20th. Before she shipped it off, it was on the mannequin, and you said you didn't see it till basically you got the dress and it was shown on a model. But clearly this correspondence on WhatsApp was sent to you because you said,
You know what though? I think that is a valid point.
it was blurry. I guess
I guess it's one thing if you met in person, but I mean, I don't perceive that as a blurry picture. It could be bigger and more clear. Maybe I have bad vision, but is that a blurry picture to you guys?
sent it through text message, so she sent it here, and you said it looks so good. Is there enough beading at the base of the dress? And clearly here on this text message thread, it shows you saying thank you for sending that video, and that was on the 20th before she shipped it, and you asked for tracking. So you clearly saw it, and you still let her ship it out.
Yeah, I was writing that down. Raylee said didn't get get to see dress, but got pics. Yep. Writing that down. Yeah, honestly, that is a good point, though. Loopholes. Hmm. Okie dokie. Now we got another one from Madalyn Sankey. Um, and let's just see what she has to say.
Honestly, some of y'all need to stop because just because I have an opposing view other than the
I just want it to be noted that I try to amplify the volume. It is the audio mixer is as high as it will go for my end.
majority of the people that are on TikTok right now riding for Rayleigh, which there is absolutely nothing wrong for y'all riding with her, but I just am the one and the only one that's pointing out contradictions of what.
Okay, you're not the only one. I made a whole fucking presentation and I spent hours on that presentation, Madalyn. All right, Madalyn. Look, I'm an equal opportunity hater. I don't like both of them. I'm not writing for either of. Oh, is that appropriate for me to say? I apologize. Um, I am not siding with either of them. Yeah, fuck that shit.
What she said was been posted in the text threads on WhatsApp. And from what she's saying out her mouth, she didn't see the dress until she got it, basically. My content happens
I mean, I do think that is a valid point, though. That is a valid.
to be different because I'm not just jumping on the
Did not mean to hit that brake buffer. My bad.
bandwagon believing every single thing that's coming out of her mouth. I'm not saying that she's lying about everything. I'm saying that she does have contradicting statements of what she has said. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to sit up here and just believe every single little thing that somebody's saying.
No, I mean I do agree though. Like I did that whole fucking presentation, and I know I only counted like explicitly like on the live portion. I only put 3 on Rayleigh, and I think it was like I forgot the number. I think it was 19 on Caze. But I also questioned a lot of other shit Rayleigh said too in the rest of that presentation in the questions portion. I would like that noted. I've been questioning her too. Okay, did you see my playlist? Madalyn, watch my fucking playlist, man. I think you might like it. Maybe I'm wrong. But maybe you won't like it cuz if you're very pro Kaze, but you know what? If you're more pro workers, watch my shit.
Saying out of their mouth without comparing and contrasting it with what's being shown from the opposing party too. And to be honest, I'm not on either one of their sides. I've even wrote in the comments to the designer that I'm not on her side either. But I'm not finna.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you and I have the same fucking idea then. Right. Watch my shit, Madalyn. You'd like it. Anyway, you know what? I'm on Madalyn's side.
Sit up here and ignore the fact that I see contradictions in what this girl is saying. But y'all can continue to ignore them if you want to. That's on you. But just remember that some of y'all was just on this girl side at the beginning and now y'all flipping. So just do a little bit more research and be open-minded because I'm a very open-minded person and I'm not finna just deny somebody proof.
Oops. She does have a point though, because it's like this is exactly what I was saying. Because everybody is all like, "Oh, you hop on the bandwagon," but then aren't they like? I think it's one thing to, be able to discuss why you thought something you thought when you thought it, but and here's also how I know the difference between people who, in my opinion, are on the bandwagon or not. Some people, I'm like, I know you made that post. I saw you made that post. Now you're gonna act like you didn't make that post, and you're gonna dirty delete that post. Yeah, okay. And then you're gonna act like, oh, you thought that all along after you made a bad review. Bitch, be for real. Then why did you go leave a bad review on Rayleigh's page? And now you're gonna act like, oh, you were on Rayleigh's side all along. What? Okay, I believe you. But then other people, I do believe them. I do believe that they were skeptical all along for sure. But other people, I'm like, you weren't. You weren't. Anyway, um, and me myself, I admit it. I totally believed her at first, for sure. I think what was it after my third or so video? That's when I think it was around the second or third video I started questioning things. But then it wasn't until around the third or fourth video that I was absolutely like, oh no, oh no. You know what I'm saying? But I never got to where I could be like, yay Raylee, because when I just watch the content surrounding Raylee, they're just things that I saw where I'm like, these raise red flags for me on my political beliefs, to where it's just hard for me to be like, woohoo, you know? And so from there, I just try to give everything fair coverage, in my opinion. But, you know, I'm sure there are ways that I could be doing better that I failed. I also try to discuss how I failed at that and where I wanted to do better, and ways I was trying to mitigate the risk. I'm sorry, I was about to start hitting play, but I keep talking. But I did another fucking live stream about, I think that was the full stop. Was it the full stop Friday at the beginning of that one? I don't remember actually. One of my live streams, though, I was trying to discuss like how I was putting certain videos unlisted just so they didn't negatively impact anybody through SEO. Um, and then everything else I felt like was reasonably okay to just leave as is, because the sources are in everything, and if you watch it, I feel like you can come to your own conclusion and story and everything like that. I tried to just discuss it's all my opinion, but so like, who's to say what's the harm? I'm sure there's definitely better ways, and it's definitely got me reflecting on value alignment, on content production, coverage, and all of that. But at the same time, like, I also understand when you're just a human, so you're gonna make mistakes too. But then I think it's like, how do we do better? Also, I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm sorry I'm like this. I don't know where I'm going. Okay, let's do a reaction to this video. My bad. All right, so here we go.
Down the rabbit hole of how that designer played with Raylee about her wedding dress, and the dress came to her completely different than what it was supposed to be. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have got married in that dress either. If you ask me, the things that Raylee pointed out that were wrong with that dress, she didn't even need to point out. You could see them, like, and then when you look at the picture of it from the back,
She's totally right though, in terms of like, if that's what she wanted, right? Like, yeah, and the off center part on the train, that one is real bad for me.
tacky as hell. Okay, and then what gets me, y'all have to go down the rabbit hole. Y'all have to go down the rabbit hole, because everybody believed that designer before Raylee came out with her story. I'm mad that that designer posted that, because she knew what she was doing, trying to ruin her wedding day. Listen, I don't know what the wedding day was like, but I hope that she did not ruin your wedding day, Raylee. But the videos that are surfacing of, I don't know, somebody said it was the designer in the dress or a model in the dress. I don't know. Whoever.
It is a model, not the designer. I think it's Pascal, somebody in the dress, but I can't confirm. But I think that's what it is.
That is in that dress though, in these videos that we're seeing, I don't know if she has the dress back or what is going on, or if she has made something like it before and that's why it was nothing like what they sketched out. I don't know, but that dress that she has on is not the dress that Raylee got sent to her. That is not the same dress.
I do disagree with this. I think it is the same dress. I think it is the same dress. I think people just don't believe it but professional photography and lighting, I swear to God, can do wonders. Okay, so I really do think it was the way that they presented it, but I do think it's the same dress, and I don't think that there was the organization there to pull off making two dresses even that close to similar.
The dress that whoever
In that time frame, anyway, with their current setup.
whoever that is wearing that dress that we seeing now, that dress looks beautiful. The one that Rayleigh got,
That's the exact same fucking dress. I think it's Pascal Rowe in that dress. When she turns around, you can even see how off center the train is. When up front, you can see the issues that the bride had with the belt, but her arms are in front of it for part of it. Except for whenever she does like this, then you can see it. And then you can even see the unevenness. You can see the pointed issues. You can see all of the issues that the bride didn't like on that dress. You can see it on there. You just don't notice it because you don't know the look for it. So you just see the stunning model in a pretty dress, but then you look at for the details, and you're like, oh wait, this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. But it's the same, in my opinion.
That's not the same dress. So please don't let that go over y'all heads. That is not the same dress.
And I also forgot which live stream I did this on, because I did this in so many. But I did another live stream where I show you how a designer had not a designer, how a store owner and a model friend of hers, they did photo shoots wearing the exact same outfit, the exact same size, and you could see how it fit on two different body types. So I do believe it's the same dress, because I've seen how different women's body types can fit in clothing.
Play with that girl on a special day. Raylee, you still look beautiful in the dress that you weren't supposed to be in because you had paid a deposit and you were about to pay all that money for the dress that you wanted. But the lack of communication, the lying about I'm gonna call a spade, the lying about dropping that dress off at the at FedEx when you didn't really drop.
No, in my presentation though, I do think there's a valid point here though, because in my presentation I question the time of the FedEx packaging, and you should go check that out. Oh, and in my Full Stop Friday episode, I interview a former FedEx employee, which is my mom, and she also texted me, and I read that text message in the conclusion. And both of those conversations are relevant to
these designers. Customer service has just completely evaporated. It's just gone. There's no way. Me personally, I don't think that lady should be in business no more. That's just me personally. You playing with special.
I mean, I definitely think there is a way for her to survive in business. She can totally do it with a good plan. But I do think, she just made it so much harder for herself to make it, that she just might not in business. In terms of running her own business at this stage in life, she could later down the road, maybe she took some life lessons, she could open up something new, do it in a better way with new people involved, hopefully.
Days. And
but then also, what if I'm like blaming other people for the problem and they're not the problem and it is her, and now I'm like blaming other people? That could be a thing.
I could go on and on about this. Y'all have to go down the rabbit hole. That is crazy.
Yeah, I've been down this rabbit hole for like 2 weeks now, dude. My roommate is kind of freaking out he's not like freaking out, but he's literally like, dude, what the fuck is wrong?
And Raylee, you better than me, because I would have been on one last flight. You are better than me.
Alrighty, I think what I'm going to do real quick before we continue reacting is we're just going to go on a quick little break, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to finish reacting to the rest of the commentary about the situation, just because I'm curious. Then we're going to do our, check out a couple of new news articles I found, do our news cycle, thought process, coverage, and check out the trend reports from Google about this, and just wrap up. So yeah, I'm gonna be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. am that. The fuck, it said towel, not tail? Fuck that captioner. Okay. So I got my Doritos. I'm ready. Fucking, let's do this bitch. what we're about to do now is go back to finish reacting to these videos. So here we go. Where's my button? Now, next up, we've got some commentary from Delusional and Thriving. Oh, and that reminds me, the one creator, the CEO, I forgot her username, but I labeled that as 1, 2, and 3 for now. But I might go back and try and come up with a better wording but it's just 1, 2, and 3 in the order we did it. I might do a better wording on that if I can think of it, or something. I don't know. But anyway, so next we got Delusional and Thriving. And so let's check out her commentary.
Back, she's like, you guys, Miss Cassie's back. She's like, bitch, you guys are not gonna run me off the internet. I need my coins, run me my money. Let's get into it real quick. So she posted up her GoFundMe again. So far she has 965 USD. Her goal is 12,500. So the main parts of her GoFundMe is she's saying that we're facing significant financial challenges, loss, and emotional distress due to the unscrupulous and unethical tactics of the bride. Emotional distress.
I know, I was just thinking about something. We were wondering, why does she need money for an attorney if she already has one? I was thinking, well, with her other cases, I wonder if she's using the same attorney on all of her cases. I didn't pay attention to that. I'm gonna look at that. But if she has the same attorney on all of her cases, then she might have just asked that attorney, but still need to pay the attorney for the next case. You know what I'm saying?
Is gagging me. Because, bitch, what do you... First of all, you caused this. This is what I don't understand. You caused this. You're the one who brought this to social media. If you didn't bring social media, girl, no one would even know. And I bet if the bride didn't respond back to you, there would have been no emotional distress. There would be no GoFundMe. You know what I mean? Girl, she's a cuckoo bird. Anyways. And she says in the GoFundMe, today she has not been paid and her dress has not been shipped back to her. Also, she claims that she made travel arrangements to pick up the dress but was denied. She's been blocked and ghosted and all communication has been seized. You know what really bugs me? She writes that she's a young, female, small, black-owned business. Bitch, what the fuck does being young and black have to do with this? That's what I don't get. Business is business. It's not like a color thing. Why do you have to throw in your young, black business, small business? I hate when people fucking do that. It grinds my gears. Anyways. So basically, right? Basically, the purpose of this GoFundMe is, she said that she must now retain a lawyer for the legal process. She said the situation has caused her to not pay her employees and also overhead costs. Girl, you've not been paying your employees, sis. You've been...
Dude, that is what I was going to pause to say, and then right when I paused it, she was saying, and I was like, yeah, yes. I've got the Dorito dust on my fingers again. Ah! Oh no, I'm hitting shit. Whoops. Well, can't you even see? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Alright, it's my bad. I look fucking weird. I am weird. Alright.
Been writing bounce checks, allegedly, from your ex-employee. He came on and said that. So, but you've been not paying. So what do you mean this has caused you not to pay your employees? But you've been not paying them. What are you talking about? Anyways, she said her priority has always... Hear this, bitch. Hear you guys. She said her priority has always been to provide stellar customer service, producing custom designs, and to support her employees because they are the backbone of her company. Wow. So basically, for the gist of it, the reason why she made this GoFundMe is for legal fees, loss of property, overhead costs, and employees' salaries. Casa, you just can't let up. You just can't rest. I don't know why.
And like this one, it's like every transaction, But like, if there's one transaction would make or break your business, then you probably don't have a profitable or sustainable business, which is okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're less of a business. Businesses, have struggles. Everybody has been there, and unless they haven't, then lucky fucking bastards. But like a lot of people have been there, and fucking, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging you're not in a sustainable place as a business. And I feel like when you try to act like you're not, and you do the whole keep up with the Joneses and spend money to look like you're making money type thing, that's where you fall into these pitfalls of you don't build your business in a value aligned way. In my opinion. I don't know.
You can't say, I fucked up, guys. I apologize. I'm sorry. I understand where I went wrong. I understand what I have to change in my business, and keep it moving. Bitch, I'm speechless. My girl's like, you know what? No, fuck you guys. I'm not gonna take down this GoFundMe. Actually, I'm gonna put it back up. At this point, you just have to laugh because, like, what distress have you endured? I don't understand what distress you're talking about, right? I don't understand about you not paying your employees because what? And what gags me is people keep saying, oh, she should have returned the dress. When you think about it, if she had returned the dress to her, she would have never gotten her refund back. Because look at the real Jinsu. She returned it in good faith, and she was till this.
The Rojan Sue still has a legal case. Whether or not the Rojan Sue is able to afford, I forgot what happened on the end of there, so I'm not trying to say what happened. Okay, I don't want to get Diana and the Rojan Sue stories confused right now because I didn't study their case enough to remember which one happened to which, right? Now, I know that Diana got the prom dress, the Rojan Sue got the birthday dress, but I think it was Diana with her prom dress where her mom got into the altercation with her. And I think it was the real Jinsu who, with the birthday dress, who sent her dress back, but never got her refund. Now, I don't remember what happened with the real Jinsu on legal action there, but I do believe that Diana is in the process, to my understanding, of legal action. I think the real Jinsu is two or not. Is two. They got 2 years before statute of limitation is up. Diana's story happened in 2022. But you have 2 years to take legal action, but the court process can take longer than that. So I think Diana is still going through the court system, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm speculating it to test my memory, but I could be dead wrong on that. This is not fact. This is just me This is me trying to remember and guess if I remember it right, and I'm gonna check myself later. That's what I think. Fucking, if I remember that right. And I did watch all of their stories in my live streams. Fucking, now, they have legal cases. Now, here's the difference, though. If you look at it, Diana did get the prom dress back, even though she didn't want it back, and still didn't get her refund back either. Whether or not you leave the dress there or take it back isn't going to change, in my opinion, whether or not she gives you your money back. In my opinion, you still got to take legal action either way, in my opinion. In my opinion, if the dress was returned, there wouldn't have been any form of legal case ever for any legal action against Raylee, in my opinion. And so that's why I would recommend it. Because with her, and that's another difference with her too, was the partial payment. The others had already paid in full. I need to do a whole live stream on the differences in my opinion, between Rayleigh's case and the difference between Rayleigh's case and the real Jinsu's case and Diana's case. The real Jinsu and Diana both paid in full, in my opinion, but Rayleigh did not. The real Jinsu ended up giving her dress back, but only got half her money back. Diana got no money and tried to give the dress back, but her mom ended up taking the dress home. So she still has the dress, but still got no money. You know what I'm saying? And so my opinion is refund policy, like I said, what we could look at policy procedure itself. We could go all day about that. But look, but then looking at this in this case, I just think there are things that both parties did right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, right in terms of covering their ass with the law, and wrong in terms of legally and morally fucked up. But Casze even more so in this scenario, in my opinion. But Rayleigh did just do a few things that could, in my opinion, bite her in the ass. All right, I'm gonna keep going. My bad.
She has never been giving her refund, even though she was promised it. So you guys keep saying, oh, send the dress back. I'm sure many people send the dress back and they never ever receive their money back. Like, come on, you guys. Like, she just needs to wash her hands of this and obviously take it legal. But girl, there's so much stuff coming out about how you really fuck with people and you're not giving people their money back. So you doing GoFundMe now is quite laughable because, like I said, people have returned their stuff to you allegedly and you have not been giving their money back. So girl, what's done is done. It's karma. It is what it is. Wash your hands situation. But you know what? I've done wrong to other people. It's my turn for someone to do wrong to me. So girl, it's not that hard. Just swallow the loss, apologize, and just keep it moving. Because these receipts that you're so-called posting, they don't make any sense. You're not credible. Your credibility.
In my opinion, I don't think she can afford to settle the lawsuits, potentially, in my opinion. I mean, maybe she might, because it might be the cheapest thing for her, but I don't think she can afford to pay whatever she would have to settle for. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck are they gonna, what money, she can't even pay her employees. How do you think she's gonna settle in that lawsuit? That's not, you know what I mean? I've got Doritos dust all over my fingers right now. My bad.
Is pretty much shot. You know what I mean? I was really hoping that this whole saga would be over and done with, but she just keeps on posting, girl. So if there's any more updates, I'll let you guys know. But for now, that's it.
So yeah, I'm over here snacking away. So people are saying, don't most business insurance policies provide coverage for payroll interruptions? At her level, she probably should have, if she's incorporated and everything. Is she incorporated? Is it Casey Brand LLC? Why did I think I saw that somewhere? I don't remember. If she's incorporated, I think she should probably have business insurance. And she's not. If she's still doing business, a DBA, still entrepreneurship, if that's how she registered, I forgot to pay attention to how she registered herself as a business. But then it would make sense. Well, I mean, she should still have business insurance. It would still be ideal, but it would make sense if she wasn't somewhere that she was at a level to afford that yet, if she was still at that level of setup, if that makes sense. With an LLC, you have to have certain things in place in order to not what's called piercing the veil. The whole point of having an LLC is creating an entity of a business that separates yourself from a legal entity that separates yourself from your person. So people can only sue your business and not you personally, right? However, people have been suing Sandera and her brand. So I actually think she might be an LLC. She might have a business insurance policy, but you know what? Business insurance policies, they might pay for like specific events for payroll interruptions, like maybe a hurricane, but they're not going to pay for payroll interruptions because you suck at business, in my opinion. But yeah, okay, I don't know how I got there, but so the designer said someone should ask her if she has an insurance policy. Her payroll is all jacked up. I got one hand in my right hand in the Dorito bag, my left hand on the mouse. Someone said, wait, an ex-employee came forward. I missed that video. Someone said, I think it's gone again. She said, wow, that was fast. It's back up as of this live stream. Someone said she cannot pay her employees. How much is she paying said employees if their remaining balance is over 3K? The designer says she owes us approximately 10K in unpaid wages. Damn. And they said you should do a video and join in on the disaster. The designer said we posted a video a couple of days ago with the receipts. Please go follow the designer on TikTok. I was about to say Instagram. It's the designer 74. The designer said she hasn't paid us employees for several months. The bounce checks and current court cases happened way before this Casze and Raylee dress scandal. I wonder if she is paying her current employees. Valid question. I bet she isn't, because everywhere I've ever worked at where there's a financial issue for me and I wasn't get paid, I found out later that people that were working there after me didn't get paid because somehow I would end up knowing them. Small world, New Orleans. So yeah, people are saying she opened a whole new can of worms and Casze herself brought it to the internet. We all found out she was a liar and find out more girls were duped by her. Someone said Casze needs to do a collaboration with that pink sauce lady. Damn. So yeah, the comments are not going in Case's favor here. Moving on. We got a little reaction from Jenna.Wylder. She's talking about how this took a turn, and let's find out what she has to say.
I think Rayleigh's going to sue the designer Casazi. Her and her husband both posted online that they've retained a lawyer, and I think she might have a case. Because why did you dox this woman and then lie to the entire internet about her, trying to ruin her life and her wedding?
Wait a minute. Did I never saw Caze dots Rayleigh? Did Caze dots Rayleigh? Because people have said it, but I never saw it. So if it happened, I'm not trying to gaslight people. I'm just saying I never saw that, and I've done a lot of coverage on this. I'm shocked that I did. Like I'm pissed off that I didn't get to see it, but I'm shocked. Like I missed it. But then again, I missed the live stream when it happened, and I missed the deleted post when it happened. So this could have totally happened and I missed it. However, if they are only referring to just her sharing the social media post, I still think that was wrong, but that wasn't technically doxing because those were public profiles and her business profiles. I don't, it's still unethical, but it wasn't, I wouldn't call that doxing. Now I didn't share it. He owned the live stream because I don't want to share the doxing, but I did see other people talk about, and I also did see random other people basically dox her, but it wasn't Caze herself. Now, so I would say we could argue that perhaps Caze caused her to be doxed indirectly, potentially, but even still, I mean, I don't know if she didn't encourage it in any shape or form, then I wouldn't, but. Well, I mean, I guess people could, because people are like, where is this Colorado bride? Like, I can't, like, play go get her type thing. So, with that type of wording, maybe you could argue that she indirectly instigated it. But I don't think she directly did it. And I haven't seen any evidence to show that she even tried to get anybody else to get it done. Like You know what I mean? In terms of the other meaning of indirectly, meaning through somebody else. You know? If that makes sense. I don't know.
Whenever the designer came out and said her side of the story, we had so many questions. And now Rayleigh's coming out and she has all of her ducks in the row. Screenshots, receipts, timelines, proof. It completely backfired on the designer Casze because now there's a plethora.
I will say that Rayleigh's evidence proves a lot of things that Casze was saying was not true. But I'll also say that her evidence didn't show for me what I needed to also say that she didn't take the dress without paying for it in full. You know what I mean? Um, and so that's why I think there could still possibly be a technical argument regarding the stealing and stuff. Um, in my opinion, but you know whether or not like you agree with it, but there could be an argument for it. Is all I'm saying. Um, fucking. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. My bad. I'm just eating my Doritos over.
Plethora of people coming out saying that she has scammed them too. What I really want to know is what happened with the GoFundMe because it's deleted now. But it was for $12,500, and I want to know how much money was raised and if she's going to keep it or give it back to.
Oh, the GoFundMe's back up. She's definitely gonna keep it. Oh, this is posted 4 days ago. That makes sense. Okay. Alright, fuck it. Let's just finish watching it.
People who donated to her because they felt sorry for her based on lies she said. And the designer has no remorse. She actually posted a video saying that Rayleigh's response was still all lies and that she actually has receipts and she's going to prove that Rayleigh is lying. But then she deleted that video. I mean, I hope there can be some type of recourse for Rayleigh because this wasn't right. And if she can take legal action, I think she should because Casase's been getting away with this for way too long. I really want some people who are familiar with the law to weigh in on this. Can Judge Mathis or Judge Judy tap in here and give us their professional opinion? I mean, if you were Rayleigh, what would you do in this situation? How would you respond? Would you sue too?
Well, if I were Rayleigh, I would cover my ass and, you know, unless my attorney told me to keep it, I would return the dress so there could be no charges against me. That way I can go after her and she can't countersue. But that's just me. I play chess, but a lot of people are like, let's go fucking. It's about they're just like, because she didn't like the dress, she should do whatever she needs to do to get the money type thing. And I don't know. For me, it's like, I want to approach it. I think it should be approached the reasons you're getting the refund are because you don't like the dress, right? And I think when we look at whether or not a refund should be had, then that should be analyzed. So I'm not saying there shouldn't be a refund. But what I'm saying is, even if you wanted to get a refund on something, if you take something without paying for it, it is still, in my opinion, potentially theft. That's all I'm saying. Alright. Now we're going to keep on. I don't know if this is streaming me or not, but on my end, OBS crashed again. Hey, that kind of rhymed. So we were in the middle of watching a video from Space Fun Shoddy, Christina B, when OBS crashed on me again. So let's go again. I'm just going to restart this.
I had to go back and do some digging, y'all. Now, all of y'all have been tagging me in the new videos Casze posted, and I'm not going to talk about that because at this point, girl, stop. But just in case you had any questions about her questionable business practices, I want you to look at the fine print right above
again, I do think she does questionable business practices. I think whether or not she's upholding her contracts is questionable. I don't think this wording is questionable. I think it's standard. And I think it's kind of like, imagine if you were going to work somewhere and your boss said, I'm going to pay you, but if I decide I'm no longer happy with your work, I am taking the money out of your account. Would you be able to make a living? Would you be able to work that way? You know what I'm saying? So that wording is standard in a lot of business transactions, whether it's like not that type of, but the point of that wording, not necessarily like that. Like, I think it could be worded better, but I don't think that the concept of what's there that she's talking about is shady. Now, if we want to talk about how capitalism is unethical, I'm all down for that. Fuck capitalism, right? Um, but I will say I find nothing wrong with when it's, as long as it's clear, like when people honor their contracts and that's clearly stated, I find nothing wrong with it. It's if you don't advertise it and then you want to do it later, then that's illegal actually. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to go by state law on that, and then there is a refund policy typically. But so yeah, I have a different take on that, and that's just from my own experience doing business.
Of Rayleigh's signature and look at the 4th bullet point. Pause this and make it bigger. It says there is no refund for part.
And I've already poked loopholes in that, and not only in this live stream, but also in my last live stream, and I posted a quicker video on it, like closer to 15-ish minutes, I think, about the shit doesn't add up. And I think it's the last thing that doesn't add up to me, where I talk about loopholes in this wording too. So it's not ironclad, like locks it in on the business side, in my opinion. I do think there's definitely ways you can argue this wording on the person's side who needs a refund, right? Because it doesn't say no refund, no all sales final. It does not. And it also does not say no refund on work completed. It says no refund for the item as contractually obligated to execute. Now, if she did not get the item from the contract, then in my opinion, the contract wasn't fulfilled, and so the money is therefore to be sent back, right? So that's how it could be argued in court, in my opinion. I don't feel like this is, in my opinion,
Partial payments or balance paid in full. Diabolical. So that means if you make a partial payment, you get no refund. And if you pay in full, you also get no refund. What in the bad?
Yeah, because, for example, just because you work part-time doesn't mean they should be able to decide they're going to take money out of your bank account even though you're only working part-time, just because you're not working full-time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's reasonable in my opinion. You, as a worker, have to be able to rely on your money or you can't show up to work. That's normal for businesses to put in place for themselves, or you can't be a business, it's a hobby, in my opinion. There should always be, and like I said, with the negotiation thing, and there should always be a win-win, so if it's a win-lose for anybody, that's a bad deal, right? So there should always be a way for the customer to be able to argue for themselves. You know what I mean? But they have to be able to have all the information up front to do so. And that's why I think her not disclosing the pricing on the amendments is going to really fuck her over for Casze with the whole fraud concept potentially. Or it could, in my opinion. I don't know. Just put
Business practice is going on right now.
So yeah, for me, there's a lot of reasons to poke at her business practices, and we could look at the contract to do so, but it would be in the way that it's upheld, in my opinion, not those terms. Those terms are totally standard. For me, it's how she doesn't follow her own fucking contract. In my opinion. So the comments say, notice that Raylee took the biggest loss overall. She didn't post a GoFundMe or Live for Clout the way Casze did. Oh, and that's not me defending Casze. That's just me, like, saying Casze didn't come up with that shit. That's standard fucking shit. And that's why I think it's fine. It's just not poor business practice. It's so incredibly unethical. Some women are still defending Casze. There'll always be those types in the world. The rest of us, seeing individuals, just ignore them. She broke the contract by not honoring the completion date. Should be no issue to break the contract to give a refund. I think this one's going to depend on the amendment and on if the judge will rule in whether or not the scope was adjusted with the adjustments in these. The due date was adjusted with the adjustments in the scope. But there could be I think that one is like, because I haven't seen the evidence for myself to confirm anything to decide, but um, because there's stuff that they didn't show us. Like, we never saw the amended contract. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's going to be things that come out in court that are going to sway things, in my opinion, pro or against one side for sure. It does look like it's going in Rayleigh's favor in terms of the court, but you never know because they're not disclosing the evidence entirely. Like, there's a chance it could turn again. Who knows how this unfolds? And again, I'm not for either of them. I don't think I like them both. So yeah. All right. Next up, we got another one from Christina.
So, like, serious question. Is she going to give people their GoFundMe money back or no?
I don't think she is.
Because you want us to stop calling you a scammer, but what happened to the GoFundMe money?
Like, no, it's still, the GoFundMe's still up, man. It's from 2 days ago. Yeah, she probably seen it's back up now. All right, next up, we got one from someone named Shan or Robert Downey Weenie Jr. All right.
You doxed that girl's personal address.
Okay, so everybody keeps saying that, but I'm not trying to gaslight you guys, but I didn't see it. So somebody send me the link, please? Because I didn't see it. Can someone, because I'm gonna look for it. I tried looking for it. I didn't see it. If somebody could send me a link to any evidence they have that that Sandera from Casze specifically doxed Rayleigh, that would be great. I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna try to do more work on finding that myself. But I haven't seen that. Like, wow. I'm not trying to gaslight people. I'm not trying to say they're just saying this for no reason. I'm just saying I never saw it.
Her work address, ruined her wedding, created a GoFundMe, lied about the stealing of a dress, made probably the ugliest dress I've seen in my 26 years, created an entire story based on a foundation of lies. And you're still getting on TikTok crying about an unpaid balance? Forget the unpaid balance. You should be in Rikers. You can tell by looking at me, I'm not a fashion expert, but again, simply the worst dress I think I've ever seen. And notice how she never showed like a picture of the dress? Because if she did, everybody would know she was lying.
But that's where the where that other content creator shown, she did get the pictures of the dress. So I mean, I agree that Casze is lying about a lot of things for other reasons, as shown in my presentation. I counted them, but I don't think these talking points are why I am against Casze. But I mean, I could be wrong. I just disagree. And I'm against Casze. I'm just also against Rayleigh. I'm against them both.
Lying, because again, the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Nobody would steal that. This whole fiasco, when I get married, I am literally gonna go to Free People and look at like their white dresses.
I don't know. Now I'm regretting pulling this video up, but maybe it's a good example of how not every good video is a good video to watch. Maybe I should be betting them more because this doesn't seem to be adding much to the conversation. It just seems to be her taking this moment to shit on Case's dresses. And I don't know, just something about it feels off for me, because if you have a valid criticism about the dress, like how the designer was explaining how they're not properly made, I think that I want to hear and understand, right? But I mean, I just have a hard time, you know, from taking, like, I'm like, I feel like you have to be pretty insecure to get to a point where you're just gonna go sit there and degrade somebody based on degrade things on looks. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the critique should be sticking to, um, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but I don't know what my point is anymore.
And just do that and get like a chunky sandal, like a nice flat form. And that will be my wedding attire, because this mess is so not worth it to me at all.
My bad, I've been getting Dorito dust all over my hands again. Okay, so now a little more commentary. Some from Ava. Is this Eva or Ava? I'm so sorry, I don't know how to say her name. Is it Eva? Shit, my bad. Here we go.
Most The thing that upsets me the most about this wedding dress fiasco is that Sandera decided to stir up all this drama on Rayleigh's wedding weekend. And most of the things she said weren't even true, and it got so out of control that her home address got doxxed and her business. I also found it extremely interesting that in Sandera's response video, she hid her face the entire time, because she knows how crazy people on the internet.
By definition, it's not possible to dox a business unless, because a business is public record. Only the personal stuff is doxing. So if it's the business stuff that people are calling doxing, that I just disagree with on technical basis. Do I agree? I don't think they should be going after her business. I think that was wrong. But it's not doxing to share public record information. It would be doxing to share her personal address, though. I never saw Sandera do that, though.
The internet can be, but she was willing to stick them on Rayleigh. I don't know about y'all, but I felt extremely misled. Sandera made it seem like this girl didn't pay for any of the dress, but she actually paid for 60% of it. And I feel really bad for the people who donated to the GoFundMe, because y'all got scammed too. Listen, I understand that money is extremely important for small business owners, but I just cannot imagine ruining such an important moment in someone's life. You only get one wedding, and it's supposed to be the happiest day of your life, so I can't even imagine what it was like for her 2 days before her wedding to have to find a brand new dress, meanwhile the entire internet is trying to ruin her life. I also feel horrible for other smaller designers, because this story is definitely going to deter people from working with them. There is so much trust that a customer like Rayleigh has to put in a small business owner, because the customer just has a lot less recourse. So it's extremely unfortunate that Sandera just couldn't hold up her end of the deal, because I think that if they just had proper communication, this dress would have been awesome, and this would have never happened.
So yeah, obviously the comments are very much against Casze and Sandera over here. People are talking about how she took advantage of Rayleigh. She was ripping Rayleigh off. And so, yeah. And things are saying none of this would have happened if she'd communicated correctly, set to her fittings, and fitted schedule with Rayleigh. Well, I don't know, because in those other two cases, well, actually, I think she didn't go stick with their fittings either. Yeah. Anyway, so now we've got from Clarissa Price here about good lesson for us to not believe everything we see online. Here's what I have with everybody. Like I was saying before, you typically tell what some of the people would when they're genuinely like they genuinely didn't believe the first time versus people who they're just going with the bandwagon no matter which way the bandwagon goes, right? But then I also feel like even in this case, people are still believing whatever it is online. I honestly kind of don't like when people are like, well, don't believe whatever you see online. On some level, I agree. It's always good to question the truth. You should be questioning whatever people are telling you, no matter what format that is in. You know what I'm saying? But on another level, when people start telling you don't question what your interpretation of something is just because it's online, I don't like that either. I don't know. Even though that's totally relevant and out of context, it's just what I'm thinking of. Okie dokie. Here we go.
And we had to cinch me in so much because she used E6000 glue to glue all the gems on. As you can see, this is August 10th. This is supposed to be the completion date, and that dress is not even close to
the amount of people who genuinely understand how much this is truly impacting me, and not only me, but my employees as well. As a Black woman-owned business, I couldn't thank you guys enough for vouching for me and fighting for me. And for those that are asking how did she get the dress without paying, the big question, I shipped it out of good faith.
The woman had purchased a wedding dress and the designer claimed it was a rush order, they didn't pay, all this stuff that ended up not being true. And the way she tried to weaponize her audience by saying he was a struggling, upcoming new business owner, being a Black business owner, she was trying to weaponize and play with people's heartstrings, her audience, to buy from her now or somehow make this up to her. This is what keeps humanity from being good, because now it's like who to trust. Like when you see a homeless man on the street, you don't know whether to give him $1 or not, because you don't know.
I was trying to get this Dorito dust off my fingers, but I don't know what this person's heritage is. She could be similar to me, where she has that mixed ancestry. And you know what? Honestly, I kind of feel the need to just like kind of bring up like what I mean on my perspective of this. And you know what? I'm gonna plug my own video up for this one. Hold on. I am just pulling something up real quick. My video might autoplay. Sorry. Hold on. So, this is my dad on the right, my mom on the left. If I take this and I do like that, will it go to a regular? How do I get it to go to like a regular video? Was it like, how do they do that? Sorry. Alright, so that's my dad and that's my mom and that's how I got here, right? So that's my background for speaking on what I'm about to say. So my mom's totally European descent and my dad is mixed descent. You know what I'm saying? So for me, whenever I'm seeing white people take this opportunity to be all like, oh, Black business owner, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, I feel alarmed. If that's a Black person speaking on their own community, their own lived experience, I'm going to let you guys, let your community speak for the community. And I'm not here to do anything but amplify what I'm told to be amplifying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my place to speak on. I'm just here to try and support the best I can, right? Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I understand how when you're trying to help amplify other people's communities that you're not a part of and just be supportive, there can be this fuck up where you accidentally speak over or in ways you shouldn't for a community, and then you realize, oh fuck, back up, go back. You know what I mean? In some ways, but like, because it's a learning journey, and it's not only a learning journey, it's also everybody has different boundaries and everybody has different expectations of you. So where one person would want you to speak up and say something, another person would tell you that's not your place too. So that's also a thing, because no community is a monolith either. But yeah, I feel like, white people really shouldn't be mentioning that aspect. Unless it comes to reading the wording on the GoFundMe or something and just talking, hey, this is just for documentation purpose, reporting purposes, reading the vernacular in front of us, I get it on that level, right? But when it comes to us trying to add commentary on that, I don't think that's appropriate in this place when you're right presenting. For me, I have Native ancestry, but I don't even feel comfortable. Like, and I do speak on my lived experience on my life, trying to process my reality, but I wonder if even that's problematic. And I don't even feel comfortable or think that it's right for me to speak on as a Native person because I don't live that identity because I'm perceived as a white person. And um, you know what I mean? I didn't grow up culturally connected, though I have been working on that over the last year. Um, but I've always known what my lineage is. I just never had it confirmed until later in life, if that makes sense. Um, but I was always told, I just didn't believe it, and then I found out, and then it was true, and I was like, yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? But so, I don't know if she's mixed because, I understand how I look just white as fuck. And I understand how, people, when you come from certain backgrounds, just like, people have different identities. But there's just something about, oh, yeah, I was going to check for updates. There's just something about, you know, that wording where I didn't feel like that was her place to be mentioning in regards to criticizing Kaze's business, and it came off to me that way. Even if there's all of these reasons for us to question how she's unethical, we shouldn't be mentioning the fact that she's a black business owner. Let the black community speak on how they feel, in my opinion. In regards to that level of the representation, it's like if a hearing person, in my opinion, tries to tell me about deaf representation, I would be like, suck my fucking dick, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But that didn't rub me right.
Know if he's actually homeless. Social media is great when we're holding people accountable who are doing bad things and taking advantage of people who know they're doing wrong and are trying to get away with it to protect other people. She was probably thinking she was going to be blasted online because that's the new thing now. Every little argument you get in the world, somebody's going to blast it online, which is literally insane. Like, it's one thing to be a content creator and like tell your stories if that's what you do, but if you don't do that on a consistent basis and you
Man, I don't have time to blast all the internets I get into online. I'd be here all fucking day because I'm an argumentative bitch. But for me, when I get to a point where I'm like, I'm sharing this, it's because I feel like there is something from the story that I'm telling where there are lessons to be learned from it. And that is why I felt called to share it. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do feel there's value in sharing. I think you can tell when someone's trying to process their fucking reality versus um, just being little dip fucks, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? For example, there are some people who I'm mutuals with that are fighting, and I'm mutuals with all of them, and I have no clue what happened. None at all. All I'm seeing is both sides say some fucked up shit to each other. I have no clue what happened, and I'm not inserting myself. Nope. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Staying the fuck out of it. That's part of why I've been on YouTube so much. I'm like, yeah, staying the fuck out of that shit fuck. I hate when people that you're fucking friends with and like everything and like, why are you all fighting, man? But, um, so I don't know what my point was. Let me look at the caption or hold up. Right. Okay, my point was with the way they're fighting, I don't think there's any lesson to be learned from how they're sharing their sides because they're not really sharing a story in a way in which I understand something to learn from it. They're just sitting there fucking insulting each other like, fuck you and fuck your kid. They're talking about each other's kids. They're talking about how bad parents each other are, but none of them, like, I mean, we could all judge each other's characters for one reason or another. No one's perfect. There's shit wrong with everybody, but to my knowledge, I thought they were all good parents, but fucking, things like that. You know how people get when they don't like each other, but, so, like, but yeah, I don't know. But so I feel like she has a point, but there's also like I just wanted to bring up. Sometimes I do think there is like this isn't that's not what her point was about, but I do think there can be value in sharing sometimes. But she's right, I think.
Randomly just pop up talking about an incident in your life that didn't go as planned just to put somebody on blast. I don't like that.
For me, I feel like we just gotta be there when you put someone on blast, quote unquote, to quote her that way. I feel like there should just be there are appropriate times to do so, in my opinion. But if you do that for every person you have an argument with, then I feel like people aren't gonna take you seriously when there's a real reason to, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, fucking. So one person was saying apparently the designer owes her employees thousands of dollars, and they filed a lawsuit before Raylee even began to work with her. The designer is a con artist. The designer said, "Yep." Oh, not the designer in terms of Casze, but the designer in terms of the employee said, "Yep, we took legal action against her a long time ago." Um, People saying Casze acting like she's untouchable because she's a black-owned business. Please, I don't like this. Doesn't matter what color you are, you're a scam artist through and through and really deserves justice. And the reason I'm saying I don't like this is because this person has a pumpkin emoji. They got 13 followers, 0 likes. It looks like a burner account. I don't know if they're black or not, but I just don't like people. I don't like, if they're not black, then I don't like that it could be someone who is not of the community. Um, they shouldn't be mentioning it, in my opinion, in any shape or form. It's just like if just because one woman business does something, I don't know. It just feels. Am I wrong? It's like people saying she's acting like she's untouchable because she's a woman-owned business. Why aren't people saying that? Because it would be misogynistic, right? So why are people, you know what I mean? Am I wrong for thinking that? Like, that's how I take it. Am I wrong for taking it that way? It's not my community, but that's how I take it. Um, Diana said it's crazy because I've dealt with Casze back in 2022 and I shared my experience on my TikTok back then. It's unfortunate to see her continue bad business in 2024. Okay, and here's where I'm going. Um, do I think that Casze giving Raylee a dress that wasn't up to expectations, and then Raylee wanting a better dress has anything to do with racism? Absolutely not. Do I think people have a valid point about a criticism of racism regarding mass incarceration with the police? Yes. Do I think people have a valid criticism with some of the commentary that have come out surrounding this could be upholding racism? Yes, as seen here, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Um, you know what I'm saying? All right. So we got a couple more tickety talks, and then we're gonna um get towards wrapping this bitch up. We should finish by the 4-hour mark, I think. All right. Here we go. And so this comes from Mandi Kay. Let's see if I can sit through all of this.
This message is for the Casze dress lady. Just delete your page at this point. Just delete your page because you done piss all of us fucking off. We went to war for your motherfucking ass. Here's what I'm gonna say on some real shit. Dead wrong. The timeline, dead wrong. Time management, fucking terrible. I thought that the cocktail dress itself was beautiful.
Something, I don't know why, if I'm just like a bitch, something is wrong with me. Why do I feel put off by the way that she is speaking? Something is putting me off. Is it appropriate to question if some of the wording could be perceived as but but yeah, fucking, I think I agree with the points though. So let me keep watching. Hold on. I think.
I think that the work that she does on her page is beautiful. But the way that she runs her fucking business, on the other hand, apparently there has been more people speaking out on how they've had horror stories from this lady. I didn't watch any of them because honestly, this has just pissed me off so fucking much. People can disagree with me on this next statement if they want to. I do not give a fuck. I am not here for you to fucking agree with me. I'm here to spill the tea and give my opinions. You know what I'm saying? And then correct where it was wrong. You see? I still believe that the bride should have canceled her.
I think with words like the T, and they're just things that she used. I think could be cultural appropriation, misappropriation of AAE, in my opinion. Um, that's what I think is bugging me.
Order when she realized that she fucking hated the dress. I understand that she paid the deposit.
I do. That brings me back to that point where there are some of the statements, even though she made some other statements that could help her out, but there are still statements that the bride made that will be used against her in court, I think, in terms of arguing potential satisfaction of the deal, possibly. And enough to create reasonable doubt, in my opinion, to where it would be harder for Raylee to get her own lawsuits through, in my opinion, potentially.
At that moment in time, whenever she saw the picture of the dress and she was just absolutely sick about it, if I would have not known anything about all of this drama and I saw her video first, her explaining the timelines of everything, and then her saying that she hated it, still tried it on, wanted to take it home. If I watched her video before I knew anything about all of this drama and I saw it and I watched the timeline unfold in her video and I heard the way that she was speaking about the dress and then how sick she was whenever she saw it and then putting it on.
You see, I do agree, like, if I saw her video first instead of Case's, I would have probably believed her video. And then more like Raylee still made the first video, Raylee scammed out a wedding dress, right? But then I still think that with some of the ways that the things shaked out that led me to question things, that if I had seen Rayleigh's video and then Kaze's videos after, I might still go to, even if I would then uncover how fucked up Kaze is, I would still be where I'm at now, questioning Rayleigh, not aligning with her politics, all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think the order in which the stories came out actually, like, I think it all shifted our opinion initially, but I don't think it's did much to where it's going to shift where people's opinion is going to go at the end of the day, in my opinion. Um, but I think that's just how human nature works, though. Like, some people, like, it's a case by case basis. For all humans it is a case by case basis, but some people, it every time is a case by case basis. Some people, they're generally more skeptical, some people generally more believing, and so there's also that too. Like, everybody has their, not only is there a such thing as a general human nature to contend with, but everybody has their own nature.
On how unhappy she was, I would feel the same way. She should have right then and there. I fully and completely understand that it is not on her that the timeline was fucked. That is 100% on Kazazi. However, if she was that displeased, she really thought that a miracle was going to happen and that she was going to love the dress at the end of it, there's no way you thought that by some miracle, whenever she completed all of this, or incompleted, however it was, because you're saying that the skirt wasn't done and there were still pins in it and stuff, so it wasn't actually complete, that you were going to be pleased. You already knew. You knew in the back of your head that you were going to absolutely hate it. But for the people saying, well, she was on a time crunch, she had to. She did not have to, and let me tell you why. Because she got the dress, she fucking hated it, and she still had to go buy a new dress. If she would have just said, you know what? This whole miscommunication, this timeline, everything is not doing what you said that it was.
She does make a point here, and what she's saying were like some of the approval messages that got through on a text message, like I've been saying, that will get used against her in court, whether or not you agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are just the things that she said. Check my presentation.
Was going to do. I've not been pleased with the dress. I've not been pleased with it at all. I want a refund. If she doesn't give a refund, you lawyer up the way that you have now. You get that fucking refund, and then you go purchase a new dress. The business owner is an absolute shit show, apparently, with all of the horror stories that have came out, right? I stand on that. I agree with that. She needs to get her shit together. Apparently her time management is trash. I guess she's scammed people. I don't know what all she's done. She's done some shit though, because there have been people come forward, right? Someone said that there's information on the Better Business Bureau as well about like red flags and shit.
You didn't read that shit? I thought you were looking into this shit. Yeah, check out the lawsuits too, man. Oh, this is from 4 days ago. Oh, damn, she's way behind.
And the Better Business Bureau, you know it's bad whenever people report you to the fucking Better Business Bureau. Because Ozzy needs to delete her page. She needs to find a business manager or something.
I'm talking about past her is way behind. I'm sure current her is more up to speed. I also think that business manager is possibly the problem or part of it.
She needs to find a financial advisor or something, because a GoFundMe for this shit.
Yeah, and that's like she's going out of business in my opinion. The only time it's good for a business to do a GoFundMe is back in the day when GoFundMe started for a business to use to start up. GoFundMe's used to be used to start up businesses. You know what I'm saying? And so, in that regard, like, that's, in my opinion, that's the only time. And that, or if it's like a crisis outside of your control, such as a tornado, hurricane, drunk driver drove through your building. You fucking up your own life isn't gonna look good for you.
That's crazy too. It would have been completely different if that was actually fucking true. You knowing that all this was bullshit and you made a fucking GoFundMe? What the actual fuck? I was wrong, and as was other people, for fucking believing you and fucking going ham on Raylee.
I know. And that's why Raylee, it's funny though, because even though Raylee was harmed, the harm that went on Raylee has come back onto Casze threefold, in my opinion.
Cause bitch, I went ham. What sucks so bad about situations like this is people fucking crying wolf and then fucking lying. Whenever someone comes forward with another story like this, people aren't gonna fucking believe them. Anyway, I hope that you refunded everybody's fucking money that you took from fucking GoFundMe.
That's what I was saying earlier, but nah, I don't think she's refunding shit. I mean, I think she should. Everybody should get their money back, but she doesn't have any fucking money to give any.
That wasn't deserved nor needed. Raylee said in her video that she would send you the skirt back if you weren't going to refund the fucking money and keep the cocktail dress. But if you would refund the fucking money, she would send you the dress back. At this point, just fucking do it. Just do it, or you're going to court, girl. And nobody's going to stick up for you.
See, no, this is where I disagree. Like, if, at this point, even if she refunds the money, Rayleigh's probably still going to do a defamation case against her. Like, she's going to court either way. I think if Rayleigh sends the dress back, then Rayleigh has no court. There's no court cases against Rayleigh. Rayleigh's clear. Rayleigh can just focus on pressing her own court cases, in my opinion. And I stand firm on that. And also because of just general, like, the concept of theft still.
After this. Also, who the fuck is gonna want to do business with you after this, after seeing all of this fucking mess, all of these lies, all this bullshit, and the way that you run your fucking business? What the actual fuck is going on?
So yeah, that's true. So yeah, comments also, very similar vibe over here. The designer has said Casze screwed us employees and hasn't paid us the money she owes us. She's a scammer. She sent us bounced checks. People are saying thank you for speaking out. And someone said, so you would have let Casze just keep 4,000, said don't finish it, I don't want it early. Must be nice to piss away that much money because I can't do that. I would have let her keep that garment nor paid the rest off. I guess you didn't finish it because she literally didn't say. Did she not? Did we just watch the same video? Anyway, fucking alright. So we got one more video here. Oh, this one is from a lawyer. So I think the lawyer is on Rayleigh's side, but I'm still interested to get an attorney's opinion either way. So, let's check this out.
You've seen me all over TikTok, but
now. Okay, hey guys, I'm a lawyer, and I feel like I haven't seen any lawyers on here talk about this, so we're gonna talk about it. Now, this is obviously not legal advice. This is my opinion as an attorney, so take it with a grain of salt. Also, there's probably gonna be lawyers out there that are gonna disagree with me with what I have to say about this contract, okay? So if you disagree with me, I'm sorry. This contract behind me was not drafted by a lawyer. And if it was drafted by a lawyer, she needs to get her money back. Let's just put it that way. Now, there's a lot of concerning things about this contract, okay? But I want to draw your guys' attention to what I consider the most concerning, and that's this stipulation right here in the last sentence. The completion date is August 10th. What does that mean? Literally, what does that mean? Does that mean the literal day that you were done making the dress? Does that mean the day that you shipped the dress off?
You know, she's right, though, because that is very unclear with the fulfillment of the order.
Does that mean the day that Rayleigh comes to pick it up? Also, if it doesn't mean any of that, then why were more details not put in this contract about that? Why were there no stipulations in this contract about how the dress would be sent or delivered or shipped off? Why are there no stipulations in this contract as to the payment, okay? There are some stipulations like down here, you know, projected amount, and then I think that there's another term right here, pay remaining balance, pay in full, whatever. But there's no stipulation on here as to how Rayleigh's gonna pay. How much.
See, I'm kind of in agreeing with the attorney on the contract issues. I totally am. Like, I think people are looking at the contract for the wrong reasons being bad. She is shady in business. She did, the contract itself, the way she's doing it is fucked up. But yeah, the terms at the bottom that people were criticizing wasn't what I agreed with.
How much money she's gonna owe and when, the pay schedule, stuff like that. That's why I don't think that this was drafted by a lawyer. Okay, but let's go back to this though. The completion date is August 10th. Rayleigh says in her video that the dress was sent to her on August 22nd, okay? And when she received it, the dress still was not completed by any means. So full stop, the way that I see it as an attorney is like,
I'm wondering why isn't she, as an attorney, addressing the full refund, the full payment refund part aspect, though, in here, and whether or not full payment is necessary for that part, though. But is she not addressing it because it doesn't matter? And it's just state-by-state case to where her interpretation would only matter on a state-by-state basis. I don't know these things. I'm just asking questionings. I can't speak. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say?
The business owner is in breach of contract. Full stop. Full stop. Mostly because the dress doesn't look like this description right here. So the dress is technically not completed, okay? And it was not completed by August 10th. Even if she had shipped it off, the dress fully completed on August 22nd, Rayleigh could have probably still argued that completion date was not met. I really hope that when Rayleigh sues this girl, because I think she is suing her, that she does not use whatever lawyer drafted this. Because
Rayleigh, you've probably seen me.
Wow. Yeah, this is a totally different take. Wow. Yeah. Fucking, that's crazy. So, next up, from People Magazine, we got a new little article here from September 4th, just a couple of days ago. I just figured we could check out what, if the newest publication, how updated was this in terms of what I know. And this was the day that I created my presentation as well. So it's written by Athena, I don't know how to say her last name, I think it's Soban. And it says, the wedding dress drama first went viral after Casze accused bride Rayleigh Rukavina of not paying for her wedding dress. A feud between evening and bridal gown designer Casze Atelier and Colorado-based influencer Rayleigh Rukavina has gone viral after the brand accused her of having failed to pay for her wedding dress. In a TikTok first posted on August 23rd, designer Sandera Kazanthia accused Raylee of failing to pay for her wedding gown after she didn't ship the dress back. Raylee has our dress and won't pay us the balance, she claimed in the caption of her video. It's a bridal gown, and at this point she will not return or pay her balance. After several other videos were posted on Case's social media accounts calling out Raylee and her family, the bride responded in a two-part TikTok sharing her side of the story. In the clip, Raylee shared several screenshots of her contract, which was written in February for the dress to be completed on August 10th, and several messages detailing the ongoing communication she said she tried to have with the brand and Sandera, adding, "I never said I wasn't going to ship the dress back and also never said I wouldn't pay." Here's everything to know about the drama between Raylee and Caze Atelier. Here's Raylee Ricavina. Raylee Ricavina is a 24-year-old influencer and hairstylist back in Colorado. She originally ordered a custom gown from Caze Atelier, an evening and bridal gown, designer based in Atlanta, Georgia, for her wedding, which took place in August. Caze's designer, Sandera Kazanthia, accused Raylee of refusing to pay for the rush order on the dress after it was sent to her in August. However, Raylee later showed her contract with Caze in a TikTok video, claiming that the dress was not a rush order and was sent to her 12 days over the due date. What is the drama between Raylee and Caze about her wedding dress? In a TikTok shared on August 23rd, Caze's designer Sandera Kazanthia accused Raylee of failing to pay for her wedding dress from the brand. Am I rereading this? Okay, no, they're just repeating themselves. I think it goes on something else though. But then it says, okay, Raylee has our dress and won't pay us the balance. She claimed in the caption, "It's a bridal gown. At this point, she will not return or pay her balance." After Sandera posted the initial video, she shared several follow-up posts that called Raylee out for not paying for the dress, claiming that it cost her $12,500 in losses. In another TikTok shared on August 27th, Sandera explained that the dress was a rush order, and she initially sent the dress to her out of good faith, that Raylee would send the funds. The designer then claimed that Raylee and her mother did not answer after several follow-ups, and she even flew out to try to retrieve the dress but was unsuccessful. The designer then included a link to a now-deleted GoFundMe page to help make up for the loss of funds for the dress. She also shared Rayleigh's social media pages, including her husband David Wells' TikTok account, to potentially elicit a response from them. What has Caze said about the drama? In Sandera's initial TikTok, she claimed that after shipping out the dress to Raylee, the TikToker blocked her on all of her social media accounts. In a TikTok shared on August 27th, detailing what she recalls of the whole situation, Sandera wrote that hundreds of hours dedicated work to complete the dress before time. She added that Rayleigh's actions also affected all the people who helped create the couture dress. Why take it and not pay or give it back? She explained that the dress was originally a rush order, and she had reached out to Raylee and her family for payment ahead of shipping of the dress. She said the dress was overnighted to Raylee and claimed the influencer and her family ghosted her after she sent the tracking information. Sandera alleged that Raylee and her family were non-responsive as the dress was shipped and only reached out when there was an issue with the train. In the video, she also explained that the money she requested on the now-deleted GoFundMe would be used to fight back for the possession of the custom gown and or payment for the final remaining balance due. What has Raylee said about the drama? Raylee posted her two-part response on TikTok on August 30th in which she pushed back on Sandera's claims. The bride said that the dress was ordered in February and not a rushed order like Sandera claimed. She then showed a bridal contract which was signed 6 months before the wedding and revealed the gown's cost as $6,290. Raylee also showed her receipts for paying 60% of the gown up front to hold the dress. Raylee recalls that she had an initial consultation and a fitting with Caze for the dress. However, she and Sandera were supposed to hold a final Zoom call about the dress in Zoom, which ended up being canceled last minute. Raylee claims she followed up several times after that, asking to reschedule and for final photos of the dress but never received a response. She claims that the dress was supposed to be delivered to Raylee by August 10th, but ended up arriving 12 days after the contracted date and 2 days before her wedding. When she tried on the completed dress, Raylee said it didn't meet her expectations, noting that it did not match the design discussed prior and was poorly constructed. In her messages to the designer, which she shared on TikTok, Raylee said she would not be wearing the dress and would discuss sending it back Monday after the wedding. The message also said she was going to block her from now until after the wedding so she could enjoy her happy day. After Sandera posted her videos, Raylee said she and her family were flooded with hateful comments and messages. She posted her first video about me on TikTok the night before my wedding, she said, so she knew I wasn't going to wear it and that I was going to talk to her about shipping it back. I never said I wasn't going to ship the dress back, and I also never said I wouldn't pay, Raylee said. Instead of her talking to me on Monday, she instead went to social media and posted all of this stuff. Raylee added that she would like to resolve the matter civilly and offline. And that's the end of this article. There is another article posted on Scooper, but it does look like to me, in my opinion, I think, yes, they just reposted the Daily Mail article that we have already been reading. So I'm not about to reread that again, but I'm just noticing that it got picked up by another outlet. So I wanted to discuss moving into the news cycle here. How long does a news cycle last? Well, the length of a news cycle can vary, and that can be based on the news agenda, the digital media, the event development, the outcome, and so yeah, and it was originally described the time between newspaper editions, which could be as long as once a month or once a week or several times a day. So for different people, there could be different news cycles as well. The 24-hour news cycle or 24/7 news cycle is the constant reporting of news that is fueled by the need for continuous updates and the desire of audiences to stay informed. So yeah, and then I wanted to also tap into, I forgot to pull something up, 2-week news cycle social media. So, the outrage cycle, I would say it typically lasts 2 weeks. I'm going to link, try to remember to add this link as well for you guys. So, now, checking out, and I feel like maybe I should cover the outrage cycle in a better way in another live stream, but I can't think of, I'm like, my mind is crashing because I've been working so much and it's so late. But the reason I brought this up, bringing this back real quick, sorry, is because because this is a public outrage call. And so typically, that takes it's gonna be like 2 weeks for the main wave to die down, and you might get a third wave. But then it depends on how the events also continue playing out too. In terms of like, if nothing else happens, then by next week, everyone's gonna be on to the next news cycle. But if shit keeps going down, then this will be and then we'll be cycling. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So Google Trends is where we can explore trend reports for interest over time by sub-region and topics and related queries for keywords. So here we have the search term Raylee Casze, and we can see our interest over time between August 30th. So I've been covering this since August 25th. And it wasn't until August 30th, 31st even, that you're really seeing, and September 3rd, particularly, that you're really seeing these strong interest points on the keyword trending, which I think is interesting, right? So we can go look at the specific events that happened about August 31st and September 3rd in terms of their video content production to consider why they were trending on those 2 days particularly. So yeah. And then with Casze, they started trending. They were not trending on the 24th or 25th. I've been covering them since the 25th, but they started trending around the 26th in terms of interest over time, but that has really peaked August 31st. You know what I'm saying? And related topics for them include the Better Business Bureau, reviews, the dress, the brand, the GoFundMe, and the bride and the designer, as well as Casze BBB. Okay. Now, Casze wedding dress that was not trending around August 29th, but it began trending August 30th. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, Raylee Ricavina, her name started trending August 25th. August 24th, nothing. By August 25th, she was trending. August 27th, interest for her peaked. So, you know what it is. Let's look at the calendar here. That could be a matter of when did Raylee release her videos? When did these turns flip? You know what I'm saying? So related queries, we've got Colorado hair, wedding dress, wedding, beauty salon, David Wells. Is he a baseball pitcher? Yelp, Trey Bowes, Grand Junction, Explosion, beauty salon. You know, for the related queries, you know, things have been trending. But the good news is this will help her long-term SEO rank higher for Raylee Ricavina hair if people are clicking on that. All right, now Raylee wedding dress. This starts trending August 26th. This peaks August 28th. So yeah. So we can see the hype is still continuing for Casze. So yeah. And we can kind of see what is trending in terms of what do people care enough to be Googling in the trend report here. And I also want to take note, we've been kind of like considering this all, also, whenever I've been talking about like how public opinion sways, we've also been talking about the Jones effect, which is a psychological phenomenon that describes the tendency to compare oneself to others and strive to keep up with the social role, status, or popularity. It's also known as herd mentality. And so, yeah, it can lead to rat race where people work more than they would otherwise, which can lead to overconsumption. And people may work harder or save less. It can lead to inferiority, or where they feel inferior if they fail, or influence, where people may be influenced to adopt certain behaviors. So yeah, and then let's look at the curve. There's a curve too, I think. Well, maybe that's just something that we used in marketing, but I feel like there is you know what? I'm going to go do more looking up into what I'm talking about and then do a different live stream on that. But I feel like there's like a curve as well as in terms of like people don't like to be first to do something, but they don't want to be last to do it either. They want to do it when everybody else is doing it. And so I feel like you could create like a curve with a visual representation of that as well. So let's just check before we close out because obviously I feel like this stream is just going down in quality here. If there's any new content here, I don't see any new posts from Casze. Oh, there's this post, but nothing about the dress. Let's see. 3 hours ago. I just can't stop. So yeah, she does seem to be showing, like good reviews, good dresses, all of that. But it doesn't look like she posted anything new about the case. Raylee Ricavina's page, it looks like she's taking the time for all of this, where all of this is trending right now. She's made a couple new posts. Neither of these are about the situation. So yeah, fucking Sandera's personal page looks like it's still private for now. So yeah, and we're here now. Fucking let me refresh this captioner. So, just to recap, today all we really fucking did was mostly react to a bunch of different opinions and takes on the situation. My favorite one was probably the attorneys, in terms of just getting to see the reaction. But I think it was interesting to get to see all of the different opinions and takes, because it makes you think about it in a different way. Like, in some ways, it makes me double down on different beliefs and understandings I have of the ways I would do my own business. And in others, it just makes me think of like different arguments there could be with the law, which I'm kind of fascinated by. And also, one thing I wanted to mention was another video about this situation that's come out is linked in the description of my video. It was put out by Angelika Oles. I think it's I don't agree with everything she says in the video, and some of the stuff in the video, like, I just feel like it's probably not right, but that's my opinion. But then, like, it's nothing is like, but it's still like, it's totally a fine video. I just feel like she might not have looked into it that much before she did the video. I'm wondering if she was just like doing a video on it because it's trending, but didn't like look into it that much before she did it, in my opinion. But it's still an interesting watch, so I'll link the video. But you might disagree with my assessment on that, because you might totally agree with her take. So, my bad if that's you. But that was how I took, like, how I perceive it, kind of like, I don't know if I'm making sense. Shit. So, yeah. Today, we've been considering, there was a couple of videos I did in there where it was giving reasons to how Raylee did some things in the steps that are going to be used against her, in terms of the approval and procedure process and how she took it step by step. I think the one thing where people are, I don't think people should compare the legal outcomes between Rayleigh's case, even if we can compare the similarities with the dress issues and the customer service in the same business. There are differences, in my opinion, in Rayleigh's case and Diana's case and the real Jinsu's case. So I don't compare them, because I'm gonna have to do a whole nother live stream on that. But basically, the Rayleigh Ricavina, she was partially paid, and not only did she partially pay, she had in writing specific examples which could be used against her, where she gave approval on things, in my opinion. But that didn't happen with Diana or the real Jinsu. So I think they have more solid cases against Casze than Rayleigh did initially. But because Casze did the shit she did, Casze has a pretty strong defamation case against. Rayleigh has a pretty strong defamation case against Casze, is what I'm trying to say. I can't speak. I can't fucking speak. I can't think anymore. I'm tired, so I'm just gonna end this bitch. But yeah, thank you for watching with me. Thank you for processing all of this with me. And again, we're just processing shit. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about processing. And I want to reiterate, I really don't like Casze. I don't like Raylee. Also, support the workers. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I'm going to try to remember to link the TikTok video again for the workers from Casze that are speaking out, because that's super important. If you could go share that, that would mean a lot. Also, if you could share, repost the GoFundMe link for my friend Mandy who has cancer. Or if you have, like, that would mean a lot for me too. If you could donate, if you have a dollar or five, that would mean a lot. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Fucking, you're the shit. I feel fucking weird in this live stream asking you to donate money. But because dude, I hate capitalism. Because I don't feel weird about what I'm asking you to donate money for. Obviously, I want you to go support that cause, please, if you can. But it just feels dystopian. I don't know. Is it like virtual begging? But then is that me being capitalist? Like, is that internalized classism? I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. Good night for real. I appreciate you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.